Stanley Cup Final is now a best-of-3, and the NBA Finals has just 4 games possible remaining. We are counting down the end of two of the sports that we love here. Hello and welcome back to The House That Happens, sponsored by Shoey's Bar and Grill. The only place to be in suburban Etobicoke, voted 4 times the best dive bar in all the GTA. It's number 1 in our hearts, the Phoenix rising from the ashes. Hi, I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name's Cruz. How you doing?
Good, how about you, Cruz?
I'm thinking I want to be looking, hoping, and wanting to see the world calm down on this Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah, that is right.
So, you know what I mean? I'm hoping for all good, all positive, all nice. Like, I can't turn on the TV without hearing something that's going, no, let's go back to the guy doing triple bogeys on frickin' U.S. Open. That's far more entertaining at the moment. Sorry for the guy that got the triple bogey, by the way, but you know what I'm saying? How was your week?
Pretty good. Crazy week in general. Not necessarily for myself, but I'm glad it's the weekend. Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, including yourself, Cruz.
Thank you very much. That's the reason that people should be knowing we are recording Friday night at Cruz's Chaos because we both have outstanding Father's Day adventures that we got to partake in during the week.
Yes, sir. Right? We'll have Alexandra Mitchell, big listener of the show, coming over on Sunday to watch the Grand Prix.
Cool. Yeah, we got the practice on now, but practice never means anything to me. You know what I'm saying?
No, always take F1 practice with a grain of salt.
I hear you. And we, thinking of things that are going to get better, we would be remiss if we didn't say that we do notice things that are going on in the world today. And I hope they leave the guy alone. But after that horrific plane crash in India yesterday, one guy survived, bro.
Insane.
One guy. Insane. And they won't leave the guy alone. You see, I turned up this morning, BBC, CNN, what do you say to the guy? He goes, I don't know, man. The door was open. I walked out. That's what happened. I mean, everyone's going to say something about, you know what it reminds me of? When I thought of it, first thing was, remember in the scene in Pulp Fiction where Samuel L. Jackson goes, that was divine intervention.
Yes. When
the bullets got shot.
Yeah,
you had a handgun. That man had didn't you see that hand cannon that guy had?
Yeah, the guy that was hiding behind.
Yeah. Didn't you know he had a hand cannon? This was divine intervention. That's what this guy's got to say, because this is a miracle of miracles. My heart goes out to every family and all the people on the ground that got wiped out too. Just a horrific thing that happened. God bless them all if there's a God.
Absolutely. Shout out to some big things in sports that we got to shout out to. Ryan Fox winning the Canadian Open on a
100%.
fourth playoff hole at TPC Toronto last weekend. And a correction from last week, Nick Taylor did not win last year. He won 2 years ago. Yep. Robert McIntyre was the winner last year.
Well, it seems to be working out for Mr. Sam because he didn't win the Canadian Open, but on this track that they were doing in Oakmont, Pennsylvania today for the U.S. Open, it's insane, and he's at top of the leaderboard with very few people that are under par.
Yes, sir. Father's Day weekend means, of course, U.S. Open. Also, the Canadian Grand Prix, which we will get to later, of course. Yep. Sam Burns, leading the U.S. Open right now at a minus. Yes, he is. He was a -5 today. Oh, he's tied at top of the leaderboard with Tristan Lawrence,
who just came in too. See, I haven't been watching in 20 minutes, and look at it change.
And Lawrence isn't through the day yet, so a chance for him to take sole possession of the number 1 spot, I suppose. Also, a big shout out to Le Mans, which is happening this weekend. One of the famous racing Triple Crowns. We shouted out to the Indy 500. We shouted out Monaco, the third one, of course, going on this well. Maybe a race that one of our favorites here at the House That Happens, Max Verstappen, will participate in one day.
Perhaps being the definitive word.
We'll see. He's always talked about endurance racing, so I would say probable. I will raise you.
Okay, that's okay. Now what am I doing? Get the toys out of my hand, buddy. I don't know what's going on here, and I don't need to know anyway.
Any other shout-outs from you?
Yeah. First thing I want to shout out to is to the LSU Shreveport NAIA college basketball team in the Red River Athletic Conference. And if you want to know the difference, NAIA from NCAA is that they're a bunch of schools that have their own committee, own thing to get together because they realized they're never going to be as big as the power conferences or the Big Ten or whatever, right? So LSU Shreveport is not as big as Louisiana State U.
Shreveport, famous home of a CFL team at one point.
Yes, it was. But here's the deal, bro. Did you hear about this? Never happened in the history of college. Undefeated baseball season went 59-0.
Insane.
We at the house that happened really appreciate insane sports things that are out of the ordinary.
Going undefeated in a baseball season is no small feat.
59 and bro. And they were down twice in the semifinals and the finals. They were down 3-1 and 2 another time. And when they still came back, won 7-4 and 11-7, I think, something like that. But the big shout outs to is the 59 and 0. Bro, in the history of baseball of America, which is an American sports going on forever, no one has done this in the history of the country. Congratulations to LSU Shreveport Pilots or something, I think they're called. Some weird name, I don't know.
Like Congrats. The Seattle Pilots, former
Yeah,
MLB
they got a
team.
name like that, something like that. And speaking of being down to Florida in the South down that anyway, a big shout out for our main gentleman who respect for putting men back on the map, Travis Kelce, for taking his girlfriend, Taylor Swift, to the hockey game last night.
Were men off the map ever?
Come on, he was good. Yeah, we were getting a little bit slack there. There was no gentleman.
Did you hear about the security that they had outside their box?
I heard it was insane. Did you hear Elliot Friedman was making jokes?
Yes,
they were all cracking
on the
up.
podcast, they were talking about it too, and he was saying it was the only box where like the black curtains were put up on the sides.
Yeah, but they got to do that though because they just want to enjoy the game, right?
Swift mania or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but I just think it's very cool because what it put forward is that these guys are sports fans. I wonder how many other football players or athletes were in the house that like to go and see games. They don't show everybody.
No.
And this is in Florida. How many people in Florida? Like, what's his name on the McAfee show? 9-year NHL veteran.
NFL. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The black guy.
Yeah, he was at the game for sure. They're not gonna flash on him.
Yeah, but he's no like.
That's what I'm saying. But I think.
And for Sportsnet, his show's on the Enemy Network, so they're not gonna.
Point well taken. But in any event, I thought it was really, really cool. Everyone made a big deal about the curtains and all that shit. They don't live in the same world as us, people.
No, it's just an interesting little tidbit.
True.
I'm not upset about it.
No, but I'm thinking they just wanted to go and enjoy the game.
Oh, for sure.
So, in which they did. Like Kelce, he mentions on his podcast.
He's a hockey fan.
Yes, yeah. Like we know this is all like
was he the one? I forgot if it was him or his brother that was the Lindros guy, and the other one was an Avalanche fan. I forgot which.
I think his brother was a Lindros guy, and even a couple of years ago when Philadelphia first won Super Bowls before Kelce and this Taylor Swift thing was on, his brother was seen down at the games. I think both of them were seen, but mostly what's the other brother's name? Jason?
Yeah, Jason Kelce.
Okay, he was seen at Flyers games lots of times. So good that they're good that they're fans. Professional athletes can be fans too, and let's give them credit for doing as such.
Because remember, on The House That Happens, we are fan first.
Fan first, yes, we are. We respect all the fans too, as long as you know that.
Yes, sir. I'd like to shout out to a discovery that was made. I should have thrown this in the show last week, but we're getting to it now. People found Madison Square Garden in the Star Wars prequels.
What?
Yes, so Coruscant, which is the capital of the Republic and layer of the Empire in Star Wars, Madison Square Garden is in that planet.
Wow. Who did that hook? That's
someone was a New York sports fans there at ILM, Industrial Light and Magic.
Oh, no doubt about it. But that's like Planet of the Apes stuff, where you plant stuff in from the old and the new. That's really, really trippy. I want to see it just for that.
Well, it's a building that could fit right in.
Oh, of course.
Future.
Of course,
how the Toronto City Hall was used in Star Trek, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Way back in the day, because it was
it's a futuristic looking building.
Yeah. I remember that too. I forgot all about that. Mm-hmm.
Big shout out to Drew Doughty and the horrible How to Train Your Dragon commercials. I don't know if you've seen these.
I've heard they're bad.
They are. That's an understatement.
I got to see one. Where do you go? Can I see it on YouTube?
For sure, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
They show it sometimes with the hockey games as well, but to borrow a phrase, it is horror awful.
Okay. I vaguely heard them talking about Doughty and bad. I wasn't sure what it was. I'm glad you have context. I came in at the end of the conversation, and I wasn't sure. But they said, "What are they talking bad about Doughty? What did he do?" But I didn't catch it. I thought maybe he didn't show up or something or whatever. But this is even funnier. I'm going to definitely take a look.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already so sick of these live action remakes, and this did not make it any better.
I got you.
Any other shout outs? I got one more.
I got a couple, but the one I really want to shout out to is, I don't know if you've heard about this, but I'm glad the girls are getting involved. There's a girl out there named Nyaja Kanata. She went to Stanford, but Texas Tech stole her for $1 million a year.
Oh, this is the softball player.
The softball player. And
do you watch any of that College World Series, by the way?
What, the girls?
Yeah.
I love the action.
I
mean,
I
when
got,
it
I got
got
some.
going?
Sorry,
I said when the action got going, because those girls strike people out like no tomorrow. You know,
softball in some ways is actually more exciting than watching baseball.
Yes, we've always said that. The problem is these people got greedy. They bought her, and then they tried to run her 3 games in a row. And when she got to the championship game, guess what? Arm fell off.
That's a shame.
The coach called it out, but everyone said to her, like, she was supposed to pitch 1 game, and then she was supposed to pitch the 3rd game. But things got weird in the 2nd game, and they brought her in, and she mowed everybody down, so they got to the championship game, and then guess what? Her arm fell off.
That's too bad.
But anyways, it's the interesting thing about me is I love the sport, and the main reason Texas Tech did it so they could beat Oklahoma. You know, Oklahoma's they can't lose, right? But any event, she's got $1 million on the table for next year too. So anybody out there, girls, I'm glad to hear the girls are getting a few
get your money,
pesos
girl.
while you can, $1 million a year. And oh, by the way, when I seen this girl, when she went to pitch, I said, something about her reminded me of Earl Campbell. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. So if anybody knows the reference point of Earl Campbell, this girl had some Earl Campbell.
All right.
That's all we got to say.
So I lied. I have a few more shout-outs.
Okay.
Shout out Caitlin Clark making her return tomorrow against New York Liberty.
Okay, but let's take it one step further. I don't care if Caitlin Clark got some protein. I like that she's got some pipes. Any big deal?
Hell yeah.
Come on, you look at, okay, I know I tried to compare.
They're professional athletes.
Okay, I told my wife I compared it like this. I said, have you seen Grady Dick when he was a rookie? He wasn't much fatter than a toothpick. Come back this year, and all of a sudden, he had some protein. So let's just say you got
some trips to the keg or something.
A few more McDonald's, whatever the case may be. And I don't know what it is, but Caitlin coming in the league, there's some players in this league that are bigger than her. I tend to believe that some of these people tend to push her around.
Sure, especially when the target's on your back.
Oh, really? So she went out and put on some pipes. More power to you, and I can't wait till she's back on the court tomorrow.
God bless Caitlin Clark.
By the way, I've been watching a few WNBA games and taking notes. When I got something significant to say, I'll throw it on the table.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Also, big shout out to Joe Bowen. 1 more season as the radio broadcaster of the Toronto Maple Leafs, then he will be entering retirement.
75? Is he 75 now?
It's got to be around there. We're definitely one of the most iconic voices in Toronto sports. One of my personal favorites.
I think now they cut you off at 75. There's like a new weird rule because of the Bradshaw situation, I think.
Oh, he should have been off the air already. And they should have kept Bob Cole on longer. That's the hill I'm going to die on.
Yeah, the way it would have went, they should have let him go till out the door because he wasn't saying or doing anything senile.
No.
So I can live with
Keeping
that.
Keeping it profesh, as they say.
Yes, 100%.
I got one more if you want to go.
No, go ahead. You go, and I'll end with one.
Big shout out to my girlfriend Radhika. We will be celebrating her birthday on Tuesday. And also, she admitted to me that she has become a fan of Brad Marchand.
What? What kind of boyfriend are you? Radhika, we got to have issues. We're going out for drinks real soon. We got Marchand. What? Was he cute or something? What particular reason why?
She said the reason is he reminds her of Patrick Dempsey. Even worse. Radhika, we got to have a sit down. We got to talk to you, girl. You got a good man. You know what I mean? You should just put her. He's going to be a future Toronto Maple Leaf.
Stop it. Oh, good. You guys can have him because I don't care. That'll give me more reason to make fun of Toronto.
As he scores on Montreal.
Well, we'll see about that then. You know what I mean? See, he's making all the noise about staying in Florida now.
Who, Marchand?
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to keep him.
He's kissing ass to stay. That's all. Get your ring, get out, shut up. You're not getting one anyway. Marchand, you know what?
Well,
I'm not saying that your girlfriend has a funny taste in men because she's obviously picked a good man.
Yeah, watch it there.
So I'm being good. But I don't know. My wife says some things about some men sometimes that I got to look the other way too. So we'll just leave it at that. How's that? We'll keep it okay. I got a melancholy shout out right here. And everybody knows that I believe music is life. And I play this all the time. Now, not here. I just wanted to show you something, Andrew, that I pulled out.
It's okay. We're not video podcast anyways.
Okay. Anyways, God bless Sylvester Stewart, better known as Sly Stone, and his absolutely fantastic Sly and the Family Stone band. Died this week at 82 years old. In my opinion, and in mass groups of people have said, one of the most influential, coolest, badass bands in the history. Look at his library of music. First guy. Didn't care about his band. Men, women, black, white, let's just do it. And I always showed it.
Confederates? Oh, wait, that's someone else.
What's that?
Confederates? Oh, wait, that's someone else.
Yeah, but listen, you got to figure he started this back in the 60s when he was doing this. There were only two bands that were doing that. It was Frank Zappa and Sly and Family Stone, two big heroes of mine. But if you're a good musician and you're going to bring it to the table, there's 1,000 songs you know, bro. You probably don't know all the Sly songs, but if I give you Sly Stone's greatest hits, you're going to go, I know all
I should actually download it.
Yes, you should, but you should download the Essential because it's much longer,
the greatest
much better.
hits,
Yeah. It's really good. But anyway, it's really sad. The thing that drives me crazy about these great artists is he went into exile and he had some issues with addiction, and we don't want to talk about that, but the fact that he made it to 82 years old, some people would have said 10 years ago, they would have probably bet he didn't, but he did. And his legacy will live forever. And as everybody knows, and my wife will tell you, my dog Stanley will tell you, when I take my dog for a walk, we play Sly all the time. And if you don't know where Sly to start with, don't go to all those greatest hits. Just pick up the Fresh album. It's a good place to start. Start there.
Also, I got to call you out for your video tribute in which you made it look like that Stanley was dead.
You know what? Sometimes when you're doing other things like inhaling certain substances, I was just doing it because the background music was on and I thought this is a good time to say something. But I had Stanley jumping on me and I was doing it, so I just thought I'd combine him in there. You were one of many that said, hey, is Stanley okay? And I went, oh shit, I screwed that one.
I wasn't the only one.
No, more than three.
Okay.
More than
three.
More than three. Phone calls and everything. Oh, because they know Stanley's my boy. How young he is, and they went, what? No, Stanley's fine. He's on. Look at him. Shh, let's keep it quiet. Stanley's sleeping. Let's not wake him up.
Be very quiet.
Now, as we stay, any more shout-outs?
Brian Wilson also.
Yes,
shout
we
out
should.
Another melancholy shout out for him.
Yes, very much so.
Beach Boys fame.
I'm very glad you brought that up because I'd get shit if I didn't. But here's the difference. This is what I was trying to tell people. If music is a restaurant, I went to the Sly and Family Stone restaurant as much as I possibly could. The Beach Boy restaurant, well, it was the last place on the side of the road when I needed some munchies. I'd go and get it up. No disrespect to the Beach Boys, but I just
they got some bangers.
That's what I hear. But the big thing was about it's the Pet Sounds record, and as a guy that's trying to be a bit of a musicologist, I have attempted to do the Pet Sounds record a number of times. It just doesn't do it for me, bro. That was supposed to inspire Sgt. Pepper's and all that, right?
Allegedly.
Yeah, but who cares?
Kokomo is one of my favorite songs.
Oh, cool song. No, but God bless Brian Wilson because there's a particular genius that he had to. There's no doubt about it. We got to respect that. Which gets me to the thing I want to open the show with a little statement. And I heard this and I thought it was cool since we're going to go into all the things we love about sports. But the question lately has been, because it has to do with certain players, certain things that's come up, but everyone's saying, what is a superstar?
Okay.
What is a superstar? I heard an amazing. Okay, what do you think superstar is?
What do I think a superstar is? I mean, there's two different components to that, obviously. So there's the on-field, on ice, on whatever. It's just someone that you think someone head and shoulders above the competition, like someone. I guess in the other way, someone that's like very marketable.
You're getting close to my answer.
Yeah.
So I look at it this way: it's not always about skill. The question is, when you go on the road, do you sell out the barn? And I thought, what an excellent way. Doesn't matter what your skill level is. Doesn't matter about anything. It's all about, it's an entertainment form anyway, right? It's a television show anyway, right?
Yeah.
But if you go on the road and you're selling out the barn when you're going on the road because of your presence, you are a superstar. Correct?
Yes.
So I guess Post Malone and Jelly
Roll
can't be the biggest superstars they are after the fiasco that they went through at the Dome, right? Didn't sell out.
Oh.
Papered the room. Had too big of a venue. I remember seeing, what are those guys doing playing there?
Well, probably the price of tickets was ridiculous, too. That probably played a role.
And it was one of the few places they played that big, from what I hear. I don't know. But anyways,
yeah, that sounds like a management mistake.
Yep, that's what they're saying was it turned into a fiasco. I heard somebody was working there. But we're just defining what is a superstar. And at the House That Happens, we'll kind of use that as a reference point, do you think?
Yeah. But, I mean, in the world of sports, like, if you are, like, an elite athlete, like, the marketability should come right with that, which is a problem with baseball and, like, especially with the Mike Trout era.
Oh, God,
I could go on forever about that.
Oh, but that's a thing, too. But you know what it is? It's sometimes it's someone's trying to explain this, and it's always about your performance that has to, or something you have to do on a performance-wise to get everybody's attention. And then sustain it on a consistent basis so that you can sell out shit that you're going on the road. So in my opinion, the biggest superstar that I could see around in the sporting world, I'll start with one that we know is definitively, we already called out today, is Caitlin Clark. Mm-hmm. Exhibit A. whether you wanted to do it or not.
The rising tide that floats all boats.
Thank you.
And before we get to our first topic, how about our San Fran Sluggers report?
Oh, well, we got to talk about my oldest son, Zachary Lee Cruz. How are you doing out there in left center field, kid? A ball coming down a little quick for you? Get a bigger glove?
But he's hitting the cover off the ball, isn't he?
He's pounded the ball. It was all good. Last week we split the doubleheader.
So he's Teoscar Hernandez. You take it.
Yeah, whatever. Son, I love you. You know that. Actually, the whole team, we got to learn to keep it a little tighter. I got to do a couple of shout-outs that we should be talking about. First of all, Michael Moko, our right fielder, fell on his wrist. It looks like he's going to be out for a while. I was right behind him when he went for the ball. He went diving for the ball, and his arm got caught underneath the body going down.
Ouch.
Ooh, it didn't look good. As soon as he came off, I said, that's got to hurt. And number two, to the oldest guy on our team, our pitcher, John Bellardi, who did not catch the ball, but deflected the ball off the glove into his ear. Banged his ear up, too. So, all the guys out there playing their asses off, that tells you we're trying. That tells you what kind of effort we're getting from the guys on our team when shit like that's happening.
God damn.
Not only that, there seems to be a cohesiveness going on amongst the group that makes it so much fun to go out for. Loving it, just loving it. Everybody's starting to know their positions. Everybody's showing up. We got a few things we got to tighten up, wise. I actually hit the ball better last week than I usually did.
Hey.
I didn't make any errors, and I sat on the bench as much as I could. Okay.
Not this coming week, but the week after, I'm going to try and come to a game.
Okay.
When do you play, Tuesdays?
Tuesdays, yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you know. It won't be far from you. You come right up.
Brampton, right?
Yeah. No, kind of Brampton, Mississauga border, which is even easier. But in any event, we did pretty good. Shout out once again to our main man, Mr. Cody McDonald. No matter how crazy it was, I almost called you on Sunday to go to the Canadian Open because he's had a chance to get us in. But I was selling guitars and I couldn't get the schedule straight. I almost called you because these boys, Cody, BOH called and said, come on, let's go.
I don't know if I would have made it, to be honest. But I
sorry I didn't over
that.
the last second. But next year we're going to go for sure. A bunch of us sluggers are going to go. We're going to take the second time from Anthony, too, because none of us got out to the Bread and Honey Festival, which is in Streetville, because he was trying to get the boys over. But from people drinking the night before and day drinking, Saturday night became something that did not happen for the sluggers. But we showed up on a Tuesday, and Kevin Pick showed up.
And a boy, Kevin Pick.
Kevin Pick showed
Friend
up
of the
too.
show.
Yes, he is. Played a great game. He looked good. All the boys look good. Let's just go forward, keep it tight, and hopefully we don't have to deal with any more injuries.
And speaking of moving it forward, we'll move forward with our show. Our first official topic, the Stanley Cup Final. Deadlock at 2 games apiece. And boy, oh boy, this has been an incredible series. I mean, we mentioned, obviously, games 1 and 2 both going to overtime. Game 4 going to overtime as well. Game 3 was a Panthers blowout, but I mean, Edmonton keeps finding a way to come back. But to me, this does not look like a winning formula for Edmonton. I just keep wondering, how long can they keep doing this for? You can't keep playing from behind.
No, I agree. Now, one of the things that we have to shout out to is that no matter what anyone says, is 3 overtimes in 4 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, Gary Bettman must be just doing cartwheels, okay? And I do believe, I can't wait to see the ratings, because I think the hype for the finals in NHL is just a bit more than the NBA. I don't know why. That's how I'm feeling in any event. But
I don't know about the American though, because like TNT, I don't know how high their subscriber rate is.
We'll figure that out at the end, because they're crying about the NBA apparently, but that's another story. I'm just trying to say, I'm watching these games. Here's one of the things that I think when you're saying how long Edmonton can't come from behind and the way it's going, we've got a situation here where we've got to try to get around like it's chippy, aggressive, bullying, dumb penalties, part of the game that is Florida seems to be taking advantage of.
Of course.
Okay.
That's their game.
Not only that, they've scored in the power play every game, sometimes more than that. Mm-hmm. And the huge thing is, like every series has a blowout. I'm not worried about the 6-1 blowout game, because you go back 50 years and there's game 7. There's usually one of those games in any sport that just lost their mind and you don't know why. Okay?
Statistically speaking, though, if you're that team that gets blown out a game, though, you're usually not winning that series.
That's what they say, but
I mean,
don't know.
There has been cases of the opposite, but that's more the exception than the rule.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. But I'm still quite confident that Edmonton can pull this off. The thing is that if they had not if Edmonton blew the game, I thought late in the game there because they got a little loosey-goosey. If they didn't go to overtime, this series was over. There's no doubt about it. And there's elements of the game that you got to look at. Like the shots are pretty equal. I'm not worried about this shot attempt bullshit. I'm just saying the actual shots on goal are relatively equal when you do it over the series of the 4 games. But I really think the biggest difference in both these teams is Bob.
Oh, goaltending, hands down. Although Skinner, I know he got pulled in the last game.
Well, that
but
was just because.
He made a lot of big saves, though, keeping them in that game.
No doubt
especially in
about
the first period.
I just think that Knobloch went to the old thing, let's pull him out before things get out of hand, and maybe a change of pace will help him.
Which makes me think
Pickford looked like he was a fish out of water a few times.
I know, that's the thing, right? Like, which makes me think Skinner's going to get the start in Game 5 no matter what.
Oh, I believe he should.
I don't care he got pulled in 2 games in a row. He's the better goalie, hands down.
Oh, no doubt about it. And he's in there, and you know what? He's like a relief pitcher. What happened? Okay, next, let's just go. And I agree with that totally, but Bob's already Conn Smythe. First of all,
well, I wouldn't go that fast because if Florida wins, don't forget Sam Bennett's leading the.
Fuck him.
He's got 13 goals. He's like got the record for most
13 goals. He's got already 13. I thought it was 11 or 12. Was it got that?
I thought he got the 13 last game.
I hope he freaking
14. Never mind.
Yeah, okay,
and he set the record for most road goals in a playoff.
Yeah, no, he's already that's already there. Okay, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because you know what
it's at very least a debate. Is my point.
Okay, so
I would probably give it to Bobrovsky if I had a vote.
Okay,
and Florida won, but
so
even if Edmonton wins, like, is it going to be McDavid or Draisaitl?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. But I'm going to look at it this way. I'm this guy when I'm sitting down here watching the games. Everything's going on my PVR. Everyone knows that. So what I'm doing is I got control of this game at all times. I've gone back and watched plays where Howitt's got around to Bobrovsky making saves. Like I've rewound where Edmonds come. I want to watch the whole play and what everyone's doing. I could think of at least, and there's no exaggeration, 10 times in this series already. How did Bobrovsky stop that puck? Oh. What about Corey Perry in overtime last night?
There's multiple moments where you're like,
I can think of 10.
Yeah.
10 that he just like, where did he come from? A couple of split saves. Now, I give Skinner.
Hashik Light.
Hashik Light. That's what I'm calling him, man. He's done a couple things, or he gets his elbow catching a puck. Because you know what? Some of the goals that are come in, he's either screened or he gets fooled. Because you know what I mean? His going side to side and his squaring off to shooters is unbelievable. But I'll tell you the thing I've really noticed in this playoffs, and this was what killed the Leafs, this is what killed Dallas and a few of these other teams. When people are winding up, they get out of the way so Bob can see the puck. See how many? If the Florida guy thinks he can block the shot, he'll dive in front of it. But I'm going to bet you right now, if you get block shots by defensemen, I'll bet you that Edmonton has got way more than Florida. But how many of those weird blocks and shit ended up going around the net or going to guys in the other team? So many times. I've seen it 4 or 5 times last night, and I started noticing it the game before, is when Edmonton gets some really good pressure on, they're going to give a good shot, and someone's going to rip. It almost like the sea opens, and there's Bob in that pose, picking it off or blocking it away. So obviously there's a bit of a communication thing that's going on that's very cool between the defenseman and the goalie. And ultimately, if Florida wins this series, I'm going to say Bob, not Barkov. Got a straight Bob, not Barkov.
I mean, well, Bennett's the other one in contention.
And Bennett. Anyone that starts with a B, like Brad, Bennett, Barkov.
Matthew Tkachuk.
Okay, I haven't got there yet. Radika, you know what I said? Brad. Did you notice I included Brad Radika? Brad,
well,
Bennett,
no one's saying
and
he's
Bob.
in contention for the Conn Smythe.
Look what he's done. He's an outside shot. If you actually look at his
very outside shot.
I wouldn't give him the time of day, but I heard someone talking about, look, he's got some key goals and he's knocked some shit down.
He might get on some ballots because you vote top 3, I believe, for Conn Smythe, but I don't think he's going to be very many's top vote.
Okay, so I hope he rots in hell. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
I do. You know what? Did you see the little times they show him? They don't show it enough. Him hitting guys with the stick, going by and elbowing guys. I just don't like that kind of hockey. Oh, you're going to get the guys off their game. Well, I'm going to go back. I've said it last show. I said it show before. Grab this guy and punch him in the face, take your misconduct and do something. Because, you know, every game, Edmonton is serious.
That's a dangerous game, though, because you're putting Florida. Hold on. But you're putting Florida on the power play, which you admitted is money this series.
First period. First 10 minutes.
So a goal late is worth as much as a goal early.
Well, if you come back before, and I don't want them to get behind. But I'm saying
I don't think you can play that game against Florida. I really don't.
I want Edmonton. They ride the guys away, and you got a good point there. Evander Kane can't look at nobody without getting a penalty. Sometimes he does it in front of the ref, but one of the penalties he got last night, that was 50-50, and I seen worse.
They let Verhaeghe's
I
don't know how they let that go.
I'm just saying, that one, and the other one too is when Frosling guy came by and he took his feet out. Who was going around him? I think it was Kapanen. No, it wasn't Connor Brown. Going right around him, and somehow he got this thing there and he went flying. The puck went the other way, and I went, whoa. Oh, and then I checked the time. 8 minutes left of the third period.
Yeah, I don't think they called a single penalty in the third period.
No, they did call one because it was egregious, and I think it was against Edmonton. Check it again. Someone did get a penalty, I'm pretty sure, in the third period. They had to call it. Those guys all sharpened their sticks by then. It was out of control. Come on. That's what drives me nuts.
Oh, yeah, just Bennett called for a tripping in the third.
And they had to call it. He pulled the guy's legs out. Like Bennett's saying, you know what? That's how Florida gets away with it. You see? They go right to the edge. And when Bennett probably thought, can I get away with it? He didn't. Didn't matter. But, I mean, the bottom line is Edmonton's got to take that chance, but in the first period. Knock somebody down, bro. Do you see how many times that there's a face wash or an extra elbow, and then Draisaitl comes by and you said, well, he impaled him too. I'm saying that's incidental. And Draisaitl didn't see him coming.
Elbow to the face, elbow to the face.
Then this guy should have been skating so fast. He just had his head up trying to go in there, man. Like, come on, Draisaitl's not dirty.
I didn't say he was dirty.
But I'm thinking
that's a penalty, though.
I don't know.
I'm just saying the Verhaeghe one should have been called too.
Oh, that was the worst one. That was the most egregious of the whole night.
Like right on the numbers, it looked like charging too.
Yes, exactly. And like I said, this was happening in around that Forsling pulling the legs out of O'Connor or whatever. Edmonton had a couple in the back too. That Nurse got some questionable, but they weren't as obvious as the Florida ones. And then they stopped calling it. When I text you, what did I say? All penalties are now over. All what is it? Like in the Rush album? All systems of the Federation. There will be no more penalties for the rest of the game. No more penalties for the rest of the game. Unless you do something like Bennett did. Because if you don't call that, then you're questioning the integrity of the game.
Oh, of course.
Like all those elbows, incidentals, going into the boards, you can call that was part of the action. You can whitewash that. Pulling a guy down like that, you can't. You know what I mean? Or any of those ones to the head in front of the net. Or when Buddy, in the third period, when Edmonton should have put it away, when Buddy shot it over the glass. That time to Florida. Who was it? Was that Forsling? No, Ekblom. We shot it over the glass. And he looked the other way like, what? Fucker, you shot it. That's a rule. You shoot out, it's a penalty. Don't matter what time it is. And they got to call those because...
Yeah, that's delay game.
But then Ekblom looked at him like, oh, man, I was just clear and didn't touch. Buddy, we see what you did. That's why they made the fucking rule, you dumbass. He turned around and he looked at the referee like, what? What? And he looking around like pointing at, like it went off somebody. Buddy, they made that rule because of what you just did. And then you're looking around like, what? Really? Come on. Stop it. You know what? It's really hard to like Florida.
Oh, really?
It's really hard to like Florida.
I haven't noticed.
It's like, first of all, like I said, every game, Florida out-hits Edmonton. Sometimes it's by like 20 hits. Got to hit back, bro. I checked the number.
They're the new Bruins.
Worse. No, I don't know about that. Let me backtrack on that one. Yeah, let me backtrack on that one. That's the Boston Bruins we're talking about now. So that's a whole different...
I don't know. Florida's building their own reputation, though.
The reputation is going to be like this. If they win the Stanley Cup and they keep this lineup together, they're going to be able to maybe make it a first.
They won't be able to, though.
Who are they going to lose? They'll lose Marchand.
Well, and we've been through this. Their cap situation, they'll only be able to keep one of Bennett or Ekblad.
I don't think they want Ekblad back.
So you're going to be down one of your top four defensemen?
I think that what they're tired of is like some of his shenanigans on the ice, the juice situation. There's a little,
I don't know if they view it that way.
I don't know. Like he's the first person to say they're not going to say. He's the one that's one of the most.
But your team's taking a step back though if you lose a defenseman like that. Don't you think?
I always say that, but why is the rumblings coming out? Is that doesn't seem to be like somebody? You know what? There's always a scuttlebutt out there.
That could just be someone trying to keep his price down though.
Agents.
Well, no,
GMs.
The GM.
Yeah. Okay, I thought of that too, but I look at it this way. You need an excuse sometimes not to bring a guy back because you got to do other things. You know what I mean? So this
agreed, but the way I see it is that like top four defensemen, especially right-handed ones, those are gold. Yes, thank you.
Got you.
Bennett, second line center, a very good one, mind you, but you have Lundell waiting in the wings. I think they think he could step up into that number 2C spot.
Who, Lundell?
Lundell.
Oh, I think he could too now. If he was on any other team, he'd be a number 2.
That's why I think they're going to let Bennett walk. As crazy as it is, even if he wins the Conn Smythe.
No, they're not going to let him go because he says he'll come back for 9 and he'll get 3 years at his age and he'll get the tax.
Okay, then you're like Ekblad go. I don't see that happening though.
Oh, I do. I see it more.
Why? Because they traded for Seth Jones.
Yes, that's a start.
But he was more of a replacement for Montour the way I saw it.
Okay, but then they got Jones for another 3 years on that contract.
I got that.
Okay, so they're good. So
but then who's going to be playing with Mikkel or whatever on the second pair then?
I don't know yet. They'll have to figure that out. But I think that those guys behind are going to get more time, like Forsling and what's the other guy?
Forsling's already a top pair guy.
Yeah, and what's the guy in the third line with the other name? He's going to move up if he
Kulikov
and Mikola. Because I think both of them.
No, Mikkel is already a second pair guy, but like. I don't think you're going to be able to find someone to replace those top 4 minutes, at least as well as Ekblad or even close.
Okay, so I'm going to add on to this thing. You got to be the intangibles. Bennett has more intangibles than Ekblad, including being the dirty motherfucker that he is. That's
debatable.
Ekblad's pretty dirty too.
Yeah, exactly.
He's pretty dirty too. I'm not going to.
He gets away with it more, so you could argue that he's more valuable that way.
Yeah, but you know what it is that
I don't think the steroid juicing thing is going to play much of a factor.
Good. I hope it doesn't because they're all doing it. They're all trying to get the wash on, but whatever the case may be. Bennett just has that thing, okay? Where did he come from? Calgary?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Trey Living who's running your team. Another one of his mistakes. Panicked with the Bennett thing. Should have signed him.
Well, he wanted out of town.
What's that?
He wanted out of town.
And so did Kachuk. Doesn't he come from Calgary too? So that's Trey Living. Is that the way that he's going to have to operate? Don't
forget about the owner situation in Calgary. That guy likes to meddle.
Okay, so we're not really sure. The Trey Living owner, we know there's something went there, and hence the reason he's not there anymore.
Well, Trey Living mutually parted ways.
I was just going to say they mutually parted ways. So I got to give. That's what I'm saying. This giving, which is going to be very interesting for your team. Just get off the topic for a round because they're saying right now that Pelly's handing the baton to Trey Living in a way that he's never had it before as a GM. So it should be interesting. But that's another story because he's interested in Bennett.
Pace of games.
Love the pace of the games. The only thing about the pace of the games that drives me crazy sometimes, and this is why I like Edmonton, is Florida will just go in the middle and hit everyone to try to make that like mess in the middle.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about. Like all of a sudden they just run people sideways, so everybody's running. They get to be like Rock'em Sock'em Robots or bumper cars for a minute, and then McDavid comes out, then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins comes out, and Evander Kane comes out, and they skate as fast as they can up the middle, so you can't get them. And that's where Florida gets away with it, because when the pace of the game gets too much, what do? Elbow, knee, stick. That's what I don't like about them. And if you talk about taking the pace away from the game, it's always Florida that screws up the pace, never Edmonton. However, when Edmonton starts looking around, because Edmonton's fucking up Florida's fucking up the pace, all of a sudden Edmonton can't get to their own end. There's been some periods in these games where you realize, like, Edmonton, what are you doing?
They're trapped.
Trapped, yeah. Like, all of a sudden, Florida, like, it keeps pushing it down like those riot gear guys, and they push them to the blue line.
Oh, they're like masters of the cycle.
Yeah. And then they start doing that, and it's like Edmonton forgot what they were doing, and then all of a sudden McDavid suddenly grabs the puck and just flies out of there, and then they get the balance back. I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has been playing much better the last couple games.
He's playing hurt, though.
That's what I'm hearing, but I mean, he's giving it his all, and I think that Kapanen guy, even though he's a fourth line, which really screwed it up, especially in Game 3 because of all the time killing penalties and all that shit goes long, screws up your roster.
Yep.
That energy guy should be on more. Like, look, he almost scored to make it a 2-goal lead at the end. He had 2 chances. Bobrovsky robbed him cold. You've seen that. He had him there. That would have been then the game would have been over. We never got to overtime. Then in the first 4 minutes of overtime, who had the best chance on Edmonton? Kapanen again. And the only shift he got.
Yeah.
But the only shift he ran out there and he almost got the one. He grazed off the side. You know what I mean? I think it was which I can't say enough of. I'm not the biggest fan on Hasek Light here, but Bob's angle cutting is also very good. He must be a good mathematician. Because it's the old Patrick Roy rule.
Well, don't forget how much Florida invested in like goalie coaches and all this stuff too.
I agree, but look what
Roberto Luongo, and you look at all the guys they have on staff.
Oh, unbelievable! But the thing is, like sometimes that's why they had to do the rule changes because Patrick Roy. You ever see him in 1986 in his goaltender equipment in the first year of Colorado when the Stanley Cup put him side by side? Is that the same guy? You know what I mean? So we know what's going on there. But Patrick Roy used to say it. Ken Dryden said in his book, said sometimes if you put yourself in a position and nicks off your body, Oh, he got lucky. No, if you're positioning yourself in the right position all the time, your elbow is part of your shit.
Oh, I agree.
You know
I
what
agree.
I mean? Your corner of your trapper is part of your thing. You know what I mean? The edge of your skate is part of your thing.
Yep.
And if you look at Bob side to side, the way he cuts off shooters and then he let it open for him, and I was never a fan of this guy. Even in Columbus, I thought he was a whack job then. Okay, I didn't.
Well, he's Russian.
Yeah, well, there you go. Keep adding it up. But he's the difference in this series to me right now. And except that and the over aggressiveness of the Calgary forecheck when Edmonton gets confused. Yeah. When they overcheck and they get that block in, and like you say, Edmonton suddenly goes, "What are you guys doing?"
I think Florida, I stand by, they have a little bit more scoring depth too.
I was thinking about that today, and I'm not sure yes and no.
I know. I take Florida's third line over Edmonton's.
I looked at both of them today, and because I knew you were going to bring that up, but because I was going to talk about the depth of scoring, and I said, well, I'm going to back off on that because Florida's got a couple more goals, but it seems like, especially last night, you know what it showed more to me? In the overtime. It seemed that Edmonton's forwards getting a little bit more jump on it for a little bit of time, but then maybe because they were...
That could just be like the way the game was going, though, don't you think?
Flow of the game.
Yeah.
I thought of that, too, afterwards, hence the reason you get those little up and downs and shit like that. I just think Edmonton's greatest thing they have going for him is McJesus by far. Because he just changes the pace. He just picks up the puck and says, fuck this, we're going to do it this way this time.
I'm just happy Tkachuk didn't get a hat trick last night. He was this close. Was it Ekblad or Ekholm and who was the other forward there? Like, just blocking that shot.
Yes, it was. And how did he get away?
smokes.
And that's why I said that Pickard looked a little fish out of water 2 or 3 times. Where was he?
Oh, I mean, like...
He made the save and then slid over there. He made a few great saves.
Yeah, agreed.
But he made some saves and got himself completely out of position.
I mean, if all things were equal and there was no salary cap, he'd probably be starting for like the Marlies or something, right? No offense to the guy. He's good. He's obviously
big.
in the NHL for a reason, but
He's big.
Yeah.
That's what that's the thing in the NHL. I think more of a reason because he's a big goalie. What's he, 6'5"?
Oh, I don't know if he's that big. 6'3", probably. Still
Skinner's
big.
6'3", I think. And he's bigger than Skinner.
Maybe.
They're both bigger than Bob.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. But Bob's got the other shit to
Bob's like technical skills are incredible.
Unbelievable. The angles, all that other shit. But I agree with you. I think tomorrow night when the game comes on, I expect to see Skinner between the pipes.
So, do you have anything else to add for this series before we get to our pick?
I'm just wanted to oh gee, there's my son. So watch this really quick. Big guy, I'm on the air. I'm recording. What's up?
Okay, just letting you know. Be ready at like 7:15 tomorrow.
You picking me up?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, I'll call you back in a minute. You're on the show. Get out of here. I'll call you back in about an hour.
Okay, cool.
Goodbye.
Some live planning on the show?
Only because it's Father's Day shit. You know what I mean? God, that early? Oh, I'm already cringing.
So this is going to be the last game we pick for all the playoffs because it's the last weekend game.
That's right.
So I officially won.
Oh yeah, you're the
I officially won the President's Trophy and I guess our Stanley Cup, but I mean that pales in comparison to you winning the Emirates Gold Cup.
Oh, there you go, right. You got me there, Stanley. I'm blaming it on you. I asked you all week what your picks were. You never helped me once. So I've got a good dog. He's not good at picking. I'm taking the Oilers all day on
I knew you would.
And you know what? Because this is the atypical thing I'm around. This is the typical Edmonton going to win in 7 games. It's going to go 7
I still stand by Florida in 6. I think they're going to win the next 2.
Okay. Well, we're gonna see that. No.
I hope I'm wrong.
Oh, okay, I agree. I hope you're wrong too. I just think the Saturday night in Edmonton and all the insanity, there'll be enough energy in the building.
One of the best road teams. Arguably the best road team.
Yeah, they play better on the road. It seems.
Yeah, we've seen them being road warriors all playoffs, all
the
playoffs.
time. And no, last 3 years, they're pedigreed.
Agreed.
You know, for the last 3 years, they've been doing like that. But I just saying this. Did you notice in my notes, the one thing I put about, I want you to see this because this is what I want to say about Edmonton. Do you see the 3 words? Hit, and hit. But Evander Kane don't get penalties. You know? Or you know what, they look at him because he's so big. And why does Tkachuk skate away with him? He's a tough guy. He started all the fights on the Four Nations. He's been on McAfee. We do this, we do that. When Evander Kane goes near him, where does he go?
He goes away.
He goes away. So that's what I'm saying. What are you, a studio gangster?
I was waiting for that.
It's coming. I'm using that. He's a studio fucking gang. No, he's a tough guy.
So he's Drake.
Oh, I guess. I don't know. I'm not
Drake's a pussy.
Okay, well, that's what they say. But
that's what I'm saying.
The bottom line, you know what I'm saying? Kachuk's going to fight anybody at any time.
Except Kane.
Kane is what I'm saying. And you see it on the ice. You see, everyone sees it. Like, and what does Kachuk say? Well,
He's a thug.
Yeah, look, that's Evander Kane. And Kane's so obvious that he's getting those penalties. So they're seeing him. See, that's
as a veteran, like
he should be slipperier than that, but he's a big boy.
Is there a reputation thing? I don't know.
Bennett's got a reputation. He's sneaky dirty.
But Bennett still gets called for stuff too, though.
Well, when it's egregious.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those, like, they all watch the film, and Marchand and them would probably give him lessons. And when you go in the corner, take your stick, and there's his ribs.
Well, don't forget as well, Paul Maurice, they called in referees when he was with Winnipeg so they can get called for, because they were getting called for a lot of penalties there, so they brought in a ref to kind of like advise, I guess, like how to not get called for so many penalties. So I bet some of that part probably plays a role too. Okay. Maurice has some of that knowledge going back to Winnipeg.
Got you. Could be. Interesting thing. Anyways, we'll all be watching the game tomorrow night.
Absolutely. Ready for some other items for hockey?
I certainly am. Let's get to them.
So the rest of the awards were given out. So we'll start with all-star teams. First all-star team, Kyle Connor, Nathan McKinnon, Nikita Kucherov, Cale Makar, Zach Werenski, Connor Hellebuck.
What's the first line? The first line again? What was it? Forwards?
Kyle Connor,
yep.
Nathan McKinnon, Nikita Kucherov.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. I thought we were missing somebody else.
Then Makar and Werenski on defense and Hellebuck in goal.
Mm-hmm.
Second all-star team, Hagel from Tampa Bay, Draisaitl, Pasternak, Quinn Hughes, Victor Hedman, and Andrei Vasilevsky.
I was surprised at the Hagel pick, weren't you?
You got to pick a left winger, though. It goes by position.
I know that. Were you surprised by Hagel?
At first, it was like, oh, but then you like look at the stats and you think about the numbers.
And I looked around,
like,
and
okay.
that's what I did too. I ran and took a look, and I said, "There's a couple other guys up in there, but any of the other guys would be saying the same thing because they were all, you know what I mean, in that position." But congratulations to him.
Absolutely. I mean, a little bit surprised how many Tampa Bay players were.
That's your team.
Well, the media loves them, so not really surprised, I guess. All rookie team: Macklin Celebrini, your boy.
Yep.
Cutter Gauthier, Vatke Michkov, Lane Hudson, Matt Yuchuk, and Dustin Wolf. And, of course, Lane Hudson winning the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year. Not really a surprise given how many assists he put up this season.
And what he did overall. I'm still going to go with I love you. I hope that he ends up being this. I hope he ends up being the best rookie of this class, but I think he'll end up being the second best, and everyone knows.
Well, you
why.
love Celebrini, too.
Absolutely.
Michkov, I think, is just getting started, too, especially with the new coach.
But he only played 50 games, too, when he got on the team. You check his record. He only played 50 games or so.
Michkov?
You mean Michkov, Philadelphia?
Yeah.
I was thinking about the defenseman from Columbus. No. He started the season in the minors because he was still young. And then he was ripping it up, and he came up, and I think he played, 50, 60 games?
Yeah, thereabouts.
But his numbers look good in the time that he was going to be there. He's got a great future. He's pretty good size. He's 20 years old. Congratulations to him. I just like him most because he's Canadian kid.
Absolutely.
You know
no, but Michkov on Philly, I think he is a real significant 40-goal candidate next year.
Oh, no doubt about it. That's what I'm saying.
With the reins off.
But not only that, this is I heard someone saying about every sport, don't worry about it because the next guys are coming. And this is a class of players that we can say, hey, this is the first rookie class. No, there's been a couple been around lately, but this is a very strong group of guys coming in the league at the same time. And not only that, we never got to talk about why Montreal is going to have back-to-back Rookie of the Year.
Who's going to be the winger, Demidov, right?
We're going to be back-to-back Rookie of the Year.
We'll see.
That's what we're going to see. After we get Gavrikov in free agency from Los Angeles, so that we can put all those Russian boys and make them happy in Montreal.
There's going to be a bidding war for him, though, so watch out.
Oh, God, yeah.
Cale Makar winning his second Norris Trophy. Also should mention that Lane Hudson got some love for the Norris. I believe he was ninth in voting.
Yeah, he got more voting than I thought, which will be next year.
But the Montreal contingency showing up there.
You think? Okay, come on. In any event, I thought Makar was going to get there with all the Quinn Hughes talk and Werenski talk when it got down to about 20 games left in the season.
Oh, he was Secretariat down at the end in that final stretch.
Yeah. You couldn't touch the guy. You know what I mean? But I'm glad Werenski got on the All-Star team because he's got the respect that he's deserved.
Oh, definitely.
And he's proved like he's a guy that Columbus should be happy.
Yeah.
Build some guys around him. He should be good. Now let's talk about a couple of the other winners. Now, first of all, I'm going to preface that with I haven't heard how many guys that are experts, and you've had to hear them because you out there listening to podcasts more than me, and what people are saying is, what have you heard about Bob Barkov and the Selke out there?
I haven't heard any complaints.
Oh, I've heard a few guys say, that was a mail-in.
From players or media?
Media, like me.
Like I don't care about that.
Okay, but anyway.
I think if it's more of a thing if it comes from players, because don't forget, a couple years ago when Carlson won the Norris, there were whispers, multiple players who were telling media members you made the wrong choice. I haven't heard that once about Barkov.
Well, I think they said it was a mail-in because they couldn't figure out for anybody else. Oh, well, you know what it is? It's like that old lineman on reputation. I think he wanted more on reputation anyway because
I don't hear any players complain, so obviously there's a respect there.
You got. He's a great player. He's a great player. But then you said mid-season, well, Barkov's going to win it anyway. And look what happened. We didn't even question it. He already won it. That's making me go, really?
Well,
really?
that's just me, like, I guess,
you were
flexing
right.
because I called it at the beginning of the year.
And that's what I'm saying. And then look, it did happen. Like it seemed preordained to me, and I don't like that. But he's still a great player.
I wouldn't go that far. He earned it.
So you looking like the sulky guy in the playoffs?
Look at the guys that he's playing against, their numbers, playing against him and not playing against him.
Okay, that's for later.
I'll stand by that. Zach Brown's friend won the Lady Bing. Congratulations to Zach Brown's friend, Anze Kopitar.
Yes. Yeah, Zach Brown's friend won that. That's kind of deserving, don't you think?
Kopitar has never been a dirty player.
No, and he's had a great season and it respectable that way. Did Mariner ever win Lady Bing?
I don't believe so.
He runner-up one year, I think he was.
I think he was a finalist one year.
Yeah, he was a finalist for 1 year. Okay, but no, I thought that
Leafs haven't had a Lady Bing winner since McGillney.
Wow.
03, I think.
McGillney won it then?
Yep.
Won it the 50-goal year?
I think it was the season after.
In any event.
We never scored 50 with the Leafs. I think it was like a 40-goal year.
40-something, yeah. 40, yeah. They got him at a good time. Congratulations anyway.
And most importantly, Connor Hellebuyck winning his second Vezina in a row and the Hart Trophy for most valuable player to his team as voted by the media.
When he won that award, I thought of my mom and the lessons that she told me.
Oh, really? How so?
If you got nothing good to say about it, shut up.
Okay. Never mind the fact they dominated all the goalie stats.
Stop it. He played on a team. How many? Go back. I wanted to look it up, and I said no because it would just make me sick. How many times did he make the difference in the game over the season? Probably not as many times as you thought because he was on a great team. So that was one of them. But I'm not saying he's not a bad goalie. He's a good goalie. What has he done for us lately?
It's not a playoff award.
Well, whatever the case may be, I just thought that was a little bit. The ball started rolling about, well, everybody else has won theirs. Oh, it's so even. Why don't we give it to Hellebuyck? And then
I haven't heard that once that it's a thing that everyone else got one. He earned it. First in goals against average, first in shutouts, first in wins. Was like a point behind Stolarz for the best save percentage.
I'll tell you why he won it. Brar, Kevin Weeks, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
Oh, come on.
Who's the fourth guy now? I'm missing the other guy.
Do they even vote?
They have some influence. I think Noodles does vote, but anyway. But did you notice all three of those guys and the fourth guy?
I know Biron votes.
No, but what was their positions in the NHL?
They're goalies.
So all they did is they were the ones that started making me sick. They couldn't stop telling me why he's got to be MVP.
They're making their case.
Yeah, well, I wasn't buying it, but so everybody else did, and they're saying,
but
you think there was nobody else as deserving as him?
It was a tough year. We said that off the hop. There's probably 4 guys that you could have named, and I wouldn't have argued with you.
Point well taken.
McKinnon, Kucherov, Draisaitl, Hellebuyck were all deserving, if you ask me.
Okay, so they got to give.
There can only be one.
Okay, so they gave it to the goalie, so every once in a while we can respect the fact that sometimes the most important position in hockey is the goalie. So I'll leave it at that. How's that?
Fair enough.
Hella bum.
Okay.
Can't wait till we shell him in the Olympics.
I'm not going to deny that.
Shell his
I wouldn't say we're going to shell him.
Where's he at now? He's golfing.
Okay.
What did Winnipeg do? What have they done since they had
Cale
him?
McCarr's golfing too. I didn't hear you. Lane Hudson's golfing.
Cale McCarr's got a ring.
Okay.
Lane Hudson's a rookie. Okay, so bad things. I'm going to call Judge Judy on this one. Get this guy, okay? We make a decision on what he's saying on our show. Listen, Hellebuyck's good.
He had a fantastic season.
Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. Can you tell what a Hellebuyck fan I am?
You love him.
Oh,
lining up to get his autograph.
With French fries, okay?
Okay. Big shout out to TJ Oshie announcing his retirement. 302 goals, 695 points in 1,010 games between St. Louis and Washington, where he won the Stanley Cup in 2018.
He's well deserving of it. Well, great career. I don't think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
No, I don't think so either.
But he's going to be in the Hall of Good.
Yes, sir.
Maybe
the American Hockey Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. Or we're like somewhere along the line that he's come up there, they'll give him that shout out, which he deserves. Good hockey player. I'd have my team.
Player who turned around his reputation as well, which I think should be noted.
Yes. Interesting point.
And was an American hero at the Olympics for a hot second for that shootout winner against Russia.
Oh, right.
Got the shout out from Obama.
Oh, yeah.
That's
right. Yeah. I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. That's cool, yeah.
Chris Kreider and a 4th-round pick traded to Anaheim for prospect Kerry Terrence and a 3rd-round pick. New York starting the process of clearing out some cap space, of course, with the Shesterkin contract sneak up. I hear Keandre Miller is going to be next on the move there.
Okay, let's just say something about this while we're here, because we're talking about...
A good move for both teams, I would say.
Perhaps, maybe, but I'd take Kreider on my team, and the amount of time that he's put in New York, I don't know why they're kicking him to the curb like that. But
it's the cap hit.
Okay, maybe. But I'm just saying that there's just something...
This Kerry Terrence guy looks pretty good, sorry. But
okay, but no. Let's just say the whole organization here. Who's at the top?
Dolan.
Okay, so can you explain this to me? As I've said a million times, can you explain this to me?
Oh, boy.
Thibodeau, 50 games, 2 seasons in a row. Took him to the finals.
Knicks haven't done this since the 90s.
Fire his ass. General manager, and the crew on the Rangers, what did they do this year?
They all got extensions.
After what?
After
missing the playoffs.
After a disastrous season, after you won the President's Trophy.
So, what business, when you're involved in the concept of productivity, fires the guy that's made you more productive than you've been in a quarter of a century, but you give the guys raise whose productivity just fell through the floor? That's what blows my mind. And then you send Kreider out the door, who's a good New Yorker. A lot of the hardcore fan base there is not happy that he's leaving.
I wouldn't be thrilled either if I was a Rangers fan.
No, the word around the campfire, there's not happening. They're all looking at Dolan.
But I think this is just the start of a bunch of moves for the Rangers, so who knows?
We don't know. We don't know about that. But it's interesting when you have a guy like that at the top who's always meddling and does something this obvious in front of your eyes. What are you supposed to think? Okay, we're going to reward incompetence. That's what we're going to do. We're going to reward incompetence. Let's do that. Give them more money.
Well, what if they're following orders from the owner? Of course, they're
that's
what
the owner's saying. Like, didn't you say Trey Living said, "Let's part mutually"? Maybe the show will be called Mutual Admiration Society.
I write that down.
There you go. Those mutual things that seem to be going on.
I'm going to put Marchand as the title, as the picture too. Then.
Oh yeah, there you go. But it is kind of like Kreider's one of those guys. I remember a few years ago, Montreal kicked the tires on him.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, he's one of those guys. Like, I mean, he's not a Bennett, but he's one of those, a glue guy on your team. Like, when New York was making the runs and they were doing shit, he was a pertinent part of all these teams.
Good power forward.
Yes.
He's going to get a lot of power play time for the Ducks.
Yes, all of that. And then what did it get us? Oh, that's Stanley.
Yeah, just playing with the toy there. Oh, come on. Don't mind the noise.
Stanley, get out of here.
So, yeah, you were talking about Montreal and Kreider?
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying I don't understand why New York, after having a season like that, you got to have some kind of foundation or building blocks. And I know he's over 30, but not much.
I don't know. This seems to be the history of the New York Rangers, though. They just, flip the table every 2 years, and they still manage to find success.
We did say, I think both of us at the beginning of the season, we thought that the Rangers would take a step back. I didn't think we'd be this far.
I had them winning the division at the beginning of the year.
I didn't. I said, I don't know. But the biggest, well, what do I know? I said Washington would be taking a step back. Where did that go?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Barkley, Lemieux, and Morehouse discussing buying back the Penguins from Fenway Sports. So initially the report was that Fenway was only looking to sell a minority stake of the Penguins, but it looks like that might be looking to sell the whole thing.
The whole enchilada?
Yep.
Okay, so I haven't done any research, but I heard someone say on TV, when it came back up, I don't know who's going to be the main money guy or stuff like that, but I'm hearing that they do want to keep an interest.
Fenway?
Yeah, they want to keep.
Well, that's the thing that they're saying. Like initially they were saying that, but they're looking like it's looking like they're going to sell the whole thing. Yeah, which is bizarre. They just bought like what 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Less than 5.
Yeah, for sure.
Less than 5.
And that tells you how bored Lemieux and these guys are, because they sold for like what $900,000, and now they're going to buy back for like what $1.5 million or $1.5 billion, excuse me.
Yeah, and they sold it for $900,000, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good
not what they teach you in economics school, but I mean, hey,
well,
owning a sports team is fun.
Okay, that's right. But at that level of the money that they have, you're really going to think they're going to
it's a drop in a bucket.
Thank you very much. I'm just glad that, guys like that, Mario Lemieux, should get back in the game. The Pittsburgh Penguins made him a very rich man. We know that. We know that.
Well, the whole reason why he got involved was because they owed him a bunch of money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it worked out well for him in the
Sure.
long run. He made more money than he expected. And he had the biggest contract in the league at the time.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So God bless you,
Team
Mario
got saved
Lemieux.
from bankruptcy.
Yes, God bless you, Mario Lemieux. You know what I mean? I like how his reputation, because you weren't around when that guy started playing hockey. From where he started, you got to point.
Well, I know
his
Don
career.
Cherry was kicking his ass every Saturday.
Oh, twice on Sunday. But then they'd show the films, and you couldn't deny it. Don was harsh.
Mind you, he was playing in a fucking shitty Pittsburgh team. That couldn't have been something to raise your morale.
I know that, but he wrote the book on cherry picking.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far. Knowing that, I thought that was Phil Esposito.
No, Phil didn't cherry pick because they had to park him in front of the net. They had to push him down in front of the net and just sit there, Phil, and then away you go. And
Okay.
Bobby Orr just gave it to him, and nobody was as big as Phil, and he just bashed them in. Do you think that Phil Esposito had some crazy wrist shot or a mad slap shot?
No.
There's a big-ass dude in there with a little wrist shot, and Bobby Orr put the puck in your... I would have scored 40 with Bobby Orr that year, and I can't skate.
I was going to say.
I can't even skate. But, Mario, I'm glad he's back in the game, and I hope it is because you know what? Pittsburgh's one of those cities now that are in a weird position franchise-wise with sports because the city is a little bit economically deprived,
Yeah.
okay, as an economic struggle, as much as Detroit was. You got to have the right people that are going to come in and are not going to look at the economic impact of the city. What they're going to try to do is change it with the franchise. Hence what the Lions have done, even though it's years ago, and what's this did with the Red Wings, even though they didn't win this year. So I think it's going to be good for Pittsburgh. I hope that they do get back involved.
Let's hope.
You know, especially for the fan base.
Because, I don't know, Fenway Sports, things have gotten weird for them, too, ever since they bought Liverpool, where that seems to be their main focus. And even the Red Sox seem to be secondary for them.
Yes, but I mean,
it's bizarre.
They're changing that about it, though. They say because the Red Sox should be more in it because...
Well, yeah, no kidding.
Well, because they had the impression that they're talking Liverpool... and the Red Sox. In North America, you could say that. But people in Argentina might not know who the Boston Red Sox are, but they know who Liverpool is. People in Australia don't know.
I don't know about that. It's obviously the Red Sox aren't as big as a brand as the Yankees, but they're the Red Sox. You see their Red Sox hats everywhere you go. Not as much as the Yankees, but
It's still a style thing. People like the B.
Okay, but still, it's still a Red Sox hat.
Yeah, you got it.
All that money still goes to Fenway Sports.
Yeah, so a point well taken. So you got a point there. I just understand that I think that they tried to have this level of thinking. And when you look on a world basis, because Fenway always talks about world enterprise.
Of course.
Okay, so they maybe come to the realization that Boston is not on the world level as a Liverpool. Obviously, they're not.
Well, I mean, obviously not.
You know?
I could have told you that, but still, it's the Red Sox.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, too. And you're in North America, and that's a brand where you can make a lot of money on that. You compete with teams that are European soccer teams. You know what I mean?
And even just on on-field, we're getting a little bit off topic, but the Red Sox just haven't been there ever since the Fenway has changed that model.
And then they tried to figure out what to do with free. They still got New England Sports Network.
Yep.
To deal with. Come on, right?
Well, 80% they own. I looked into that. They don't own the whole enchilada.
Well, you know what?
They own most of it.
Okay, but here's like I say about the Red Sox anyway. Fuck you. I hope you lose for the rest of your time anyway.
We'll talk a little bit about baseball later. Last topic for hockey. Forsyth County in Georgia approved the construction of a $3 billion facility with an NHL-ready arena, paving the way for Atlanta, getting a third chance with an NHL expansion franchise.
As much as I love hockey... Doing this show today, how much shit did I have to listen to that just makes me go, really? Like, where do you want to start? Radica and the Marchand thing right off got me right left to center. Then we got to talk about Hellabum. And now we got to talk about Atlanta getting... Come on, guy. You know what it is? That tells you how big money is in the States. They must not give a shit. Come on, Atlanta. Give it to Quebec. Oh, yeah, there's no FedEx. There's no Coca-Cola. There's no CNN.
No one speaks English.
Nobody speaks English. Yeah, sorry, Quebec. I mean, come on. Like, really, if you're loving the game of hockey, which I don't think should expand anyway, because the two biggest...
We've been talking about this. It's going to happen at 36 before Bettman gets at the door.
And you know what happens?
Arizona and Atlanta, first two in line.
Okay, so let's put it this way. This is why sports is not going to be good in the future, because what you're doing is you're diluting the product. We don't have enough NHL goalies now. Let's add 2 more teams. Let's see what we're going to get.
It always catches up, though.
What? So you got a bunch of shit teams?
I don't know. Do you ever see hockey in the 80s? All the goalies fucking sucked. No,
they didn't. They put 42. Their faces in front of the. They were good. They were solid. You think Grant Fuhr wasn't good?
Watch highlights of the best goals of the 80s. The goalies are barely fucking moving.
Stop it. Give him a chance. You're picking on him because you're young.
No. Okay. What was the worst? I saw a goal.
You don't think Grant Fuhr was good?
He's okay, but it doesn't compare to the guys now.
No, maybe he's not as mobile. I think Grant Fuhr could play today.
I don't know. I forgot the name of the player I was thinking of. He played for Minnesota, scored a bunch of playoff goals. I think he played with
Cicerelli?
No, he was
Bobby Smith.
Bobby Smith. I was looking at a goal he scored in the 91 finals against Brasso. Brasso didn't even fucking move.
Brasso didn't see it. I know the goal you're talking about. That cost Buffalo.
No, it was against Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
I don't know. It didn't look like he was screened.
Okay, but you know what?
That's not what you said when he got inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, well, I was kind of
I believe your words were he was either injured or shit.
Okay, at times. But you know what Brasso was, though? He was the start of the new, like the goalies that, how would you put it? More challenging goalies, like guys were going side to side and stuff like that. He started changing the style as Patrick Roy started when he went into the butterfly. Yeah. Like Barrasso's style of goaltending, I see that more. I see more guys playing like Patrick Roy and Barrasso, really, now when I think about it, as opposed to guys that played like Fuhr or Dryden or even Brodeur or Belfour. They don't know.
Well, Brodeur was a butterfly.
A bit, but he was side to side good too. He was a good goalie too. Belfour was good too. Okay.
Won the Vezina in his rookie season.
Yes. What a team he was on though. Come on. Still won though.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm glad. I'm just glad that the hockey playoffs are good, and some of the news notes haven't made me completely crazy.
Anything else for hockey?
Nah, we're good. Let's get out of here before I get angrier.
Yeah, let's move this to the NBA Finals, where the Thunder.
Another disappointing situation going on.
The Thunder, after dropping Game 1, had run away with Game 2, but Thunder turnovers at the end of Game 3 cost them that one. Pacers make another comeback bid, and they are up in this series. And with Game 4 right around the corner in Indiana, they got the chance to put the stranglehold on this one.
It's not going to happen. This reminds me of the Denver series.
First, OKC's going to sweep it. Oh, okay, fine. They're going to win. They're going to win the next 4. You keep pushing the post here, Cruz.
Okay, I'll give them 6. Okay.
Indiana's been good at home.
You've been watching the game. They haven't been super good at home. They can be beat. I'm telling you this. Both games that OKC lost, they lost the game. Okay, Indiana made some big shots. Give Halliburton his credit. I will even give the depth of the Indiana team some credit because those guys are all jumping off the bench. Matherin out of nowhere. That's why you have depth. And the other night it was the other Canadian, Nimbiai. And the other night, one of the other games, it was, who's the third guy on Indiana's bench? Very deep bench. That team's tight. Both teams are very tight when you think about it. Both teams are very, very tight and very go there. But when you think about it, the first game that they've got more turnovers than Indiana, and the boatload of those turnovers were in the last 10 minutes of the game. It was unbelievable. Shea blew a couple, Holmgren couple, Dortz, he made a couple of brutal, which he normally doesn't do. So I'm just going to say, as a coach...
Yeah, Shea's 6 turnovers in Game 3.
That's what I'm saying. How many times does he have
Williams had 4 as well.
Yes, look at the turnovers. When do they do that? They don't do that all the time. So I think tonight what they're going to do is they're going to do the tighten them up and run them off the floor. Because, first thing it is that the... I really got to give that Indiana crowd a lot of, because they if you don't get energy off that, I know
the Hoosier State.
What's that? The Hoosier State. I mean, OKC's got that same thing. Like they're two of the best fan bases in basketball. When you see what the energy that these crowds bring to the room, like
OKC, that's all they got.
Exactly,
sports.
And they're in Indianapolis. They got the Colts. But anyways,
but Indiana, the basketball's first.
Oh yeah.
Well, basketball and racing, I guess. Yeah.
But what gets me about it is that I think that Indiana deserved to be in the finals. I think they're doing it a bit, not with mirrors. I don't know how to explain it because I'm convinced, even if this goes 7, OKC's going to find a way to do this because as I look down the lineups,
I'm not so sure anymore.
Oh, I'm 100% sure they're just the better team. And what ends up happening in both games is
they're not exactly playing like the better team, though.
No, because they get at a character like this. This is a learning lesson.
Isn't that a bit of a red flag, especially when that's happening in the finals?
After the second Game 3 with Denver, OKC was written off. After Game 3,
I wouldn't say they were written off.
You got beat up pretty good. Not as bad. Like, they got beat up worse in Game 3 in Denver than they roughed up in
I would say
Indianapolis.
Indiana's a more complete team than Denver, though.
More battle-tested than Denver. Denver's not as deep as Indianapolis, but
No, not even close.
their top end is just as good, you know?
They have one of the best players in the game.
If he's not the best player in the game.
There you go.
Okay, and I agree with that. But I'm just saying, I see. No, I'm going to say OKC. They're going to tighten it up, tie their shoes better, and they're going to get it. The key thing is this: Siakam, who I hate cheering against him because he used to be a Raptor. Siakam is the key in this. Is he paying attention or not? When they get Siakam off his game, they're good. Okay, because then he starts trying to force them shots. If Siakam stays in the rhythm of the game, he's maybe Indiana's best player, even over Halliburton.
Well, he won conference final MVP. Let's not forget.
Okay, and a lot of people said they said that because of other reasons. Now I'm hearing, which I think is bullshit too. But
Nah, I don't buy that.
I thought Siakam was the best guy there. I thought you look at all the numbers and what he did, but in this thing too, he's probably their most surest scorer. I don't care what they say about Halliburton. You know, like Siakam is the guy. He's their number one scoring option to me as a whole team. Who else?
I believe he's got more points than Halliburton in the final. Mm-hmm. But Halliburton gets more assists, and I think he gets more rebounds too.
Well, not necessarily more rebounds. Halliburton is very good at. He's a point guard. He directs traffic very well.
Yeah,
he looks for the open man. Yes, and he looks for the open man, and he does a lot of good things. I think the difference is going to come down to this. Indianapolis has got away with making some big threes down the stretch, 3 or 4 at a time. And so they're kind of relying on that three to get them there at times. That's not going to beat OKC because OKC doesn't rely on the three. So when it gets down these next couple of games, like tonight when OKC wins by 10.
Actually, I don't know if I agree with that Indiana's relying on the three, though, because they're so good at working the ball, and especially when they get it in transition, they could just get that ball to the hoop like in an instant.
Although that's because they love to run. But they're the master of pulling up, too. Yep. Look, watch the game tonight.
Sure.
Who pulls up more? OKC don't pull up like that. They do. And another thing about OKC when they get into trouble, don't go to ISO, guys. They got ISO balling in the last 5 minutes the other game, too. When they pass the ball around, they don't get beat.
Nope.
So just pass the ball, get on it. And you know what's going to be really sad about this whole situation is I really don't like dogging Indiana because a team like this has had so much history in the NBA, hasn't won anything. It would be
only their second final, right?
Maybe third. They went with Reggie once. No, maybe that was the second final. They were huge in the ABA. That's why they came over. They were one of the teams. Because if you look back at the history of basketball, only 4 teams.
Indiana, San Antonio, Denver, and who am I missing?
The Clippers, whoever the Clippers
No, it
were.
wasn't the Clippers.
The Nets.
Nets, that's it.
It was the Nets, okay? Anyways, the greatest thing about that, you hear about those guys that shatter the bottle on the boat every year because of the TV contract from St. Louis, right?
Oh, yeah.
That is insane.
They get the TV money or a share of it.
Yeah, for the rest of the time because St. Louis wanted a team and they said, "Don't worry about it. We'll give you the money." Meanwhile, they couldn't even get on. They couldn't get on prime time for a while. But those guys kept that in perpetuity. Is that the word?
Yeah.
So the new TV contract, those guys went out and bought a yacht.
Best deal in history.
Bar none. They study that at Harvard now. But at the time, it was weird because the
NBA wasn't what it was like today in the early 80s, late 70s, whenever that was that they absorbed
the
ABA.
amalgamation was like 1975.
Even better.
You know what I mean? So already the reputation of the NBA.
It was a cocaine league.
That was the cocaine league. And then you had the ABA guys coming over with a colored ball shooting threes all over the place. And, okay, what are we going to do here? So they adapted some of the rules to lighten it up, which some people say they should never have done. But I'm happy with the three. I never liked that at first when I was a kid. Why do we got to have a 3-point? Is this a gimmick? That's what I thought when I was a kid when they brought it in because that was a big difference between the ABA and the NBA.
Right.
They could shoot threes and they had the colored ball, red, white, and blue ball. But I always thought that was kind of gimmicky. Now it's just part of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And I accept it. It's just the evolution of the game. If you ever hear Bob Ryan, now that Around the Horn's no longer on, you ever hear Bob Ryan talk about basketball and the evolution of it?
No.
Oh, he's worse than me as a hater. He just lets it rip. And he's got a lot of foundational beliefs in the essence of building basketball to make sense. What he fails to add to it is this thing called the progression of the world. You know, things that progress, Bob, since Bob Cousy was the leading scorer in the NBA. You know what I mean? Kind of deal. But what has gone on is now that we've got these teams and these history that's going on, you don't want to slag either one of these guys because either one of these teams wins this championship. It's going to be a first, and their city's going to lose their mind. It's going to be a great celebration, and all those players will be honored. So I want Shea to win because he's our Canadian boy, and I've always liked OKC. But if Indiana wins, God bless them. The Hoosier State, after all this time getting theirs. But I'm still betting on OKC to go all the way. I'm expecting tonight Shea gets back to his 30 points a game night. You know in the history of all of OKC that there's no player that's ever had 6 games in a row in the playoffs that scored 30 points?
Wow.
Yeah, think about OKC and who's been on those teams.
Yeah, Durant, Westbrook.
Harden. Who else?
Harden wasn't there for that long, but...
Oh, he was there long enough in the beginning. He was the first prima donna of the bunch. We just figured that out later. We didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything you expect different tonight than you've seen in the first 3 games?
To take Indiana to cover the rest of the way.
That's a
my
bad bet.
advice.
Not tonight, though. I'm going to bet against them. What's the game? 7-6. I might have time to put a bet.
6.5.
What is the? What time's the game start? 8:30.
8:30.
We may have a chance to get on that. Any other notes about the NBA?
Just one correction from last week. Kevin Durant will not be a free agent this summer, but next summer. So whoever wants him will have to trade for him this summer.
I think it's going to be an interesting thing because if we're going to get the Greek Freak and Durant, what do we got to do? Give them Drake's house?
Well, what do you got to give to Phoenix to acquire him?
I think Phoenix is going to be lower because word around the campfires, they're going to be happy to get rid of the contract.
Yeah, but there's going to be a bidding war. Don't you think?
From what I've heard around the campfire is Phoenix is going to say, Durant, make your own deal. I respect them, okay? So I'm of your belief. If he's an asset, I want to get as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, color me skeptical that you're going to be able to get him for a discount.
That's why when I hear these people say Durant's making his own deal, something sounds weird. Because you're not in control of the deal.
You can still make your own deal, and like Phoenix could still get a ton back for him.
It's going to be the bag. What bag are you getting back for him? That's number one. But word around the campfire is that Phoenix has now come to the conclusion they're getting rid of Beal too. They might just buy Beal out.
Well, yeah, that was a bad trade. We said that from the start.
Okay, so now what they're thinking about going back
because he's got no trade clause too.
Exactly. So what do you got to do? You got to buy him out. And word is the owners are saying, look, we made a mistake. We ran so far forward without, you know what I mean? They did things they tried to take, shortcuts to build the team because they had Devin Booker. That. No, and now it's biting them in the ass. And they've already lost some assets in the trade.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
DeAndre Ayton, they had to say goodbye to him.
Okay, shit like that. That's what I'm saying. So what they got to do now is they're going to have the reset button, which means, hey, Phoenix fans, you got a 3 years of dark, lonely nights at that beautiful arena in downtown Phoenix.
What's with Phoenix and like that team just being a disaster half the time? Like half the time they're contenders, the other half of the time they're just a mess.
Well, they were great up to the Steve Nash era, but when they changed ownerships is what did it.
And they were bad for like a decade after that.
Exactly, because the ownership changed and they were going through the same bullshit with what are they going to do with the arena. Because they thought that they're going to get in bed with the Arizona team and make a new arena, all that stuff. None of it came to fruition.
They just refurbished the one they have now.
For the basketball team, and then they didn't do anything to enhance the situation, and here they are. I think Phoenix is like 3 years away from 3 years away.
Brutal.
Which is going to be the New York Knicks that we were talking about earlier, if we can have one more crack at that.
People are saying that Towns could be out of his way, on his way out, I should say.
Well, they say K stands for cat and coach killer. I thought that, who said that? I forget, but I thought that was pretty funny. I just don't understand. I just can't grasp, which we talked about in the hockey section too. Like, what are you doing on this level of incompetence? Now, what are you going to do? You got to keep Cat. The thing is, as Burn New York was, let's get the general manager in on this too. What did you give up for Mikal Bridges? That's going to come back and bite your ass, man. Is Mikal worth that now? Because they thought we're here in the moment. And he's a good player. Yep. And he was exactly the type of player, the extra piece.
Yeah, they just overpaid.
Way overpaid. I didn't realize it was 5 firsts. Okay, that's 5 firsts. Did I say 5 firsts?
That's what the Raptors are going to have to give up to get Giannis and Durant. Plus.
Well, okay, if they give, here's what I'll say about the Raptors. I don't know what they're going to plus they give up. So I'll go with you, and it's quickly and Barrett. Number one, I don't think they should ever give up on our commercially successful, how many times does he appear shaving his face on TV? Don't give him up. His upside is way too much, and you got to keep Scotty. Now, that Sneed kid that they got in the draft here, someone might sneak him because I think he's 2 years away from being a Fred VanVleet type. And who's the other young guy that got in the team that played his ass off this year? So those 4 they got to keep. Everybody else, they can just say, okay, what do we need to get Durant and Giannis? And then they'll pick somebody up. Oh, no, they won't be able to. They're going to have to, for unrestricted, or what is it? Yeah, unrestricted free agents or free agents that are sitting on the pile that nobody's touching them. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be worth it to Toronto?
That's the big question.
Well, I'm going to look at it as Pelly's going to look at it this way. If you bring in Durant.
Well, Masai's president, so he's got.
But he's going to go tell Pelly, listen, let's talk about the merch money you're going to make right off the top.
Oh, of course.
Look at how many more sold out games you're going to have because you have these guys. You're going to have playoff freaking money gates. So it'll all pay for itself. Okay? Don't be.
Well, you're just worried about mortgaging the future.
How much you gonna you have to mortgage something, bro? There's gonna be something going on. You know what? You know it's really gonna make me sick about it all. Is gonna have all this talk and then nothing happens.
We'll see.
Nothing happens.
I thought, well, you're changing your mind fast because last week you're like, oh, I was the guy. I was telling everyone about Giannis and Durant. Now
I was screaming about it, but now that I've been spending a lot of time looking around that shit, the feasibility studies scared me. Okay. That's what scared me. When you started saying, we'll give up this and that. Then I went and looked down the roster. Then I looked at what draft choices, what we're going to have. And then I went, oh, the thing is, if we do it, it's Durant we got to worry about because he's already 36.
Yeah.
Giannis is not a worry. We got him for 5 more years. He's only 30 years old. So we got more. And you don't think he's still a top 5 player in the NBA?
No. Agreed,
no doubt about it. So we will be mortgaging, but if we could keep Giannis here for the 5 years, we'll get over the hump. Unless we give away the next first 5 draft choices.
Yeah,
Well, okay.
We'll obviously keep an eye on this as we go through the summer.
We're hoping.
Anything else for basketball?
No, not at all, except for the fact that everybody should just, we're talking about basketball. We're going to do a report a little bit later. The quality of the WNBA has seemed to have gone up. So pay attention, people.
Absolutely.
Pay attention, yep.
We'll move this over to the Major League Baseball and our Toronto Blue Jays, who are suddenly on fire. The Jays won 2 of 3 in Minnesota, swept their 3-game set in St. Louis, and they are in Philly for a weekend set, 3 games Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Things are looking up for our boys in blue, although I'm not quite sure if this is something they can keep up considering their pitching, their hitting, and overall that run differential.
Oh, gee. Now I have to tell the kid to come along with me and take a look at the big picture here because we got a fighting chance at this shit. First of all, I'm going to blow my own horn for 2 reasons. One, they're hitting the 3% more that I asked for.
For now.
Okay, well, still, no, they're hitting about 6% more. So if they fall back to 3, I'm good. I'm in the bonus area here. They're getting more than 3%, bro.
If this is sustainable, I don't know.
Okay, Alessandro Kirk is the 4th highest hitter in the American League right now.
I mean, he doesn't walk, he doesn't hit for power, but...
Well, he's a qualifier. For
okay, no, agreed. And he's good defensively.
Very good defensively. Clement, who's one of the guys, and Barger, the guys I talked about this season, could they step up? I cannot believe that freaking Clement's hitting like 289 or whatever he's hitting, and his defense has been solid.
Somehow.
That's what I'm saying. His defense is his calling card more than his hitting.
Oh, Clement?
Clement,
yeah. Agreed.
Okay, but look at his hitting now. Guy's hitting like 280. His runners and scoring positions number is been absolutely wow. This is what he's doing. So I'm saying like we're as long as these guys can stay there. And you know what really blows my mind? And I got a note here. If you take a look at it, we got 7 guys that are hitting over 260. Regulars, guys that are going to the other. Okay, I'm lying. What's his name is only hitting 259, I believe.
Springer?
Yeah. But I mean right there. But outside, look at how many guys above him are hitting, like the Chase guy, everybody. They're all hitting there. Now, do they have enough of bats to make it quantifiable? They're all getting pretty damn close. So, obviously, management, and I'm giving Don Mattingly, his effect is finally getting around to these hitters. But if you keep rotating these guys the way it is, we play solid defense. Okay?
Yeah.
We play solid defense. Our big thing is...
Who's our 4th starter?
No, I'll get to that in a minute. What I'm really worried about is how are we going to adjust this lineup to sustain some kind of power in our lineup, power hitting-wise. Santana you jinxed him, by the way, but that's another story. I wish we had gotten Alonso now, but...
that's, again, I don't think you know what a jinx is. Me calling it that it was a bad signing isn't a jinx.
Okay. Well, whatever. We'll get back to that. Anyways, I'm just saying that you watch MLB, people are laughing at the Blue Jays for the 2 deals they made. Jimenez and Santander. That's a joke around the league. Look, you want to get rid of him?
Well, what would we trade for Jimenez? Not much.
No, and we just signed it.
Well, he's good defensively, so whatever.
Well, the problem was Cleveland was trying to get rid of the contract because Jimenez's contract is way more than his production. However, if he plays defense this good and hits ninth, we'll keep him because we're going to need them for the pitching. He's helping him on there. So if we can keep that level of hitting right now, we stay this consistent for the rest of the year. No more, no less. Now you guys are hitting. This is what we want on an average from all of these guys. Hitting, we should be there. Vladdy's got to pick it up, bro. That's the guy that's got to pick it up. And I'm not going to say anything about him anymore because I don't want to sound like I'm picking on him. Bichette's having a better season. Okay?
That's debatable.
Okay, but anyways, it's only if you want to look at it from strictly power. On base, that's Vladdy's got him. And the great thing about Vladdy is he's scoring a lot of runs.
Yeah, leads the team.
Yes, not a problem. So I'm still saying over a period of time, we got, 3.5 months to go, his numbers are going to get much better. But $500 million new contract, and he's projected to get, 15 home runs and 70 RBIs right now? Fuck, come on, bro. That's not worth shit. Alexander Kirk is projected to have better numbers than him at this point in time if we went over a season. And who would ever say that was going to happen? Stop it, okay? Stop it. We know that. Okay, here's what scares me. Did a little dive into the bucket here, right? What do I say win all the time? Hit the 3% more. We talked about the hitting. Move it over there. What wins baseball?
Pitching.
And defense. Okay, so we got some defense. Who are the 2 wild card teams behind us right now? We're 2 games up in the wild card, but who are the 2 teams chasing us? I believe it's Minnesota and Cleveland.
It is... Minnesota and Tampa, actually.
I mean, Minnesota and Tampa, yes. And Cleveland. Those
and Cleveland's next up, yep.
Okay, so here's what I figured out here. Nobody's got 5 starters.
Okay.
I've been saying this last couple of years. If you got to have 3...
That's going to change closer to deadline, but...
Okay, but anyways, what I always say, you got to consistently have the same guys coming out. If you have 8 or 9 guys starting all the time, you ain't making shit, okay? So now I took a look at it. Our first 3 starters are pretty damn good.
Agreed.
Okay? They're all around 70 or 80 innings. And Francis is all over the board. Remember I said he'd be our ace by All-Star game? Oh, gee. Okay, now we got to...
You jinxed him.
Oh, it's big time. Sorry, Francis. Okay, and his ERA is what, 6.5?
Awful.
Okay,
Awful.
Okay, and it doesn't look like he gets out of innings at times if you want to get to it, even though I still like the guy. We got to hope this Lauer kid is the guy that comes in and does some damage as a starter.
Well, what about Scherzer? He's getting the start today in Buffalo.
I don't even want to hear about Scherzer. I don't want to hear about
He's starting
Manoah.
in the minors.
I heard Manoah's making noise in the minors too. So
he's not starting a game, though.
But he's throwing all the time.
He's not in the game yet, though. Scherzer's getting into game action.
I can't wait. Until he's on the mound striking out people, I forget that he even exists. That's how I'm looking at it, okay? So what we got to do is we got Barrios, Bassett, and Gausman up front, which most teams don't. Then I took a look around. Fucking Tampa's got 5 guys that have been starting on a regular basis. Now, they're not...
5 guys you never heard of.
Never heard of, but they're all got around 60, 70 innings, and their ERAs are like, it's okay. What I don't understand about Toronto, do you know we're 2nd or 3rd in the league in saves?
Really?
Yes. When I seen that, I went, what? We're top 5 in the majors in saves.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said. Okay. Look at our closer.
I mean, I know Hoffman's numbers aren't great, but he doesn't blow too many saves, so I guess that makes sense.
He has blown his share. Okay.
Only like 2 or 3, though.
Okay, so my question is this. How will the bullpen hold up? Because Hoffman can't pitch every day.
No.
It's got to be 20. And Jimmy Garcia has been in and out of the lineup now. I think they're worried about
I think he's
resting him a bit. They're worried about
I think he's expected to come back soon, though.
Yeah, but is he on the DL?
I think so.
Or they moved him around. But anyways, this Turnbull Swanson thing is that going to make a difference there? Can they come in there? Because Swanson I don't trust. Every time I see him, I see Teoscar Hernandez.
He's pitched some big innings for us, though.
But he's only pitched about 5 or 6. So what? That's not good enough. And Turnbull came in and gave us 2 innings and did nothing. Yeah. But, okay, we got to wait a month to see what he's going to be worth. So all the other guys in the bullpen have been okay. Green, Little, Fularti, your boy Rodriguez. These guys all seem to be hanging in there. So what we got to do is we hope that we get close enough to the trade deadline so we can throw some money around and scam somebody else that everybody else is looking for.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
But the Jays don't have that much depth, though, so I don't know how much we're going to have to trade at the deadline.
There's too many what ifs that's going on. So then I'll take one step further. You look at Cleveland, who can't hit that good. They got 5 starters. that have been going on a regular basis. Blowing my mind. How did Cleveland get 5 starters? Oh, by the way, Minnesota got 4 starters.
Yeah.
So I'm looking around at all these teams, and I'm going, fuck, the teams that are battling with us, they got the formula we have.
You're making my case why the Jays, what they're doing isn't sustainable.
Who says?
I say.
Okay, then I'm saying that I hope we sustain
I think
it.
this is a nice little run that we're on, but I'm really skeptical that they're going to be able to keep this up.
Once again, in the house that happens, if we start from the beginning of the baseball season right now, we have a yin and yang situation in the house.
Yin and yang.
Whatever they call them. I happen to be the positive. Mr. Milani happens to be the negative. So it's a good battery. We're charging things up pretty good. I'm going to stay on the positive side of the table, bro. I'm starting as hard as I can. I'm going to stay as hard as I can. First of all, look at
This looks like fool's gold to me, but...
If I hear that one more time, I'm going to jump. Pick. Stop it. Saying that this team's not very good, Cruz. Everyone says that to me. This team's not very good.
Because they're not that good.
Well, then why are they 2 games up on the wild card in the middle of
June? They got hot.
What did we ask for? Can we have games that mean something?
What about looking at All-Star break?
We were a month away. Less than a month away. Okay, so let's just look. And who do we... Oh, and I looked at the schedule. Who we got to play in the next month? Arizona. This series in Philly. Don't go into Philly and get swept.
I'm going to the game on Wednesday against Arizona.
Yeah, okay, well, we got Arizona here. Who else do we got? We got Arizona, Cleveland, Boston, basically, till the All-Star break, till the end of the month.
Yeah, so...
That's what we got. So we got what?
And the White Sox next weekend, which is a little bit of a blessing.
Don't fall down. Win that series.
At home as well.
At home as well. Like, you know what I mean? It should be like the Athletics. When they came to town. Same thing.
Yeah,
Look at that. But they got to win the series. Just don't lose it.
Go for a sweep. How about?
Okay, because then we hit July 1st. Who's the first team we play in July? OG, the New York Yankees, who have not have close to having 5 starters. They got 2 that are probably 2 of the best in the league right now.
And they can hit.
And they can hit. But, I mean, better pitching. We'll get to them. We're going to hope. But who do the Yankees have after that? They got that weird bullpen where they got, who is it now? They got with Luke Weaver and Devin Williams. Who are these guys? 18 saves between the 2 of them, bro. Okay, and then they got that Leiter kid, Al Leiter's son, isn't it? He's got 3 or 4 saves and the most holds in the league. So what they have is they've got that freaking Yankees always seem to have that bullpen, eh? That's what's saving their asses.
They always invest in that, yeah.
Yeah, because they don't have the starters. And I'm saying by the end of the year, you're going to have enough innings eating. The Yankees can be had when you get to the dog days of August.
The Yankees are always going to have some prospects and whatever that they can throw at another team to get another starter, though.
Okay, so right now we are Friday the 13th in June 2025. Blue Jays only have 5 games in the loss column. That's not a lot for this time of the year. Remember
what's
a month
their difference in run differential, though?
Okay, Yankees are killing us. Okay, we just got into the green. Okay,
they're 103 runs better than us. In that department.
So let's just look at it this way. Let's look at it from 1 month ago. We were crying like little girls. Oh my God, look at this team. Can they hit? Blah blah blah. So let's just look at the baseball goes in sections. In the last section, we've hit as well as anybody in the league, and our pitching has been middle of the pack, like everybody else.
So if that's the case, then what happens after this good section, though? Doesn't that worry you?
Yankees got to be worried about it too, because who's going to hold them up there with their pitching? And their defense is nothing to write home about. And if you get a good team going in there, we'll use the right field short porch like everybody else.
Their defense is better than ours, and their offense is better than ours.
I wouldn't say their defense is better. You look at the metrics.
Then how have they allowed 33 less runs than us? Because that's half a run a game. That's a lot.
Okay, I'm going to say that's basically because of the pitching, giving up all those late runs early. Go back to a lot of our numbers are skewed because of the first 6 weeks. The last 6 weeks we've been balancing it around. Listen, a month ago we were minus 30?
What about that game that we had against St. Louis?
Which one? 10-9?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a bit of a red flag.
When they played Boston, what happened to the Yankees? They lost 2 games, gave up 9 and 10 in 2 of the games. That was just in the last week too. So we got a long season to go. We got what right now? Oh, last time I checked, we got about 100 games to go.
I agree.
Only 100 to go. So I'm saying, if we're saying this time, remember we were bitching about where we're going to be able to stay in the hunt. Where are we going to be July 1st? We were crying a month ago because remember we got the June 1st or May 1st and we're going, oh shit, it's not working out the way we thought. Oh gee, what's going to happen?
Yeah, because you put that like 500 by this date and they're like, ugh.
Okay, but now we are. So everything that I'm preaching, I said from beginning of season, I'm not getting off this horse because everything that I including doing the little platoon thing which is working. Even though I think Barger's close to be pitching every day. Bam Bam should be out
You
there
mean
every day.
playing every day, not pitching?
I mean, yeah, he should be playing every day, don't you think, eventually? He just has
Yeah,
trouble
it's
against
bad.
left-handed.
Yeah, well.
That's so they're using him. But, I mean, he could get better because then him and Clement, I don't know Schneider. Well, we're not a very good team. When I see Schneider back in the lineup, I go, oh, yeah, we got Schneider back in the lineup, don't we? So that's what kills me. But then you look at every other team, and they got a Schneider, too.
Of course.
Okay, so I'm saying we're not that far away because the league is diluted. The only team you got to worry about right now running down that track, and they don't have 5 starters, is my beloved Detroit Tigers.
Well, they're going to win their division. At least it looks that way.
They should. Just because
but we're going to have to worry about some of those AL Central teams because the wild card's going to go through that division.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that, all the things that I think get us ahead. And then Minnesota just had their 10-game winning streak. What did it get them?
Yeah.
Our 13-3 is better than their 10-game winning streak because then they've been 4-6, 3-7 since. We've been consistent. You know what I mean? Look at us right now. Last 10, 8-2.
I don't know.
3 in a
I'm
row.
worried for the fallback.
I'm worried about when are we going to have the 6-game winning streak. We haven't had a 6-game winning streak. We're due to have one. Everyone has a 6-game winning streak.
Not every team gets one, though.
St. Louis had a 6-game winning streak
Good for them.
about a week ago.
We're not St. Louis.
Atlanta had a 6-game winning streak. Where are they? Okay.
Well, Atlanta, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Angels had a 6-game winning streak. Where are they at? So every team has a 6-game winning streak. The only one team that hasn't had a 6-game winning streak, Detroit Tigers. Interesting.
They're due, I would say, more than the Blue Jays.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. So why can't we all we have our 6-game winning streak. Say we have it 6 games going into the All-Star break. 2 behind the Yankees.
Sounds like wishful thinking.
I'm not saying wishful thinking. I watch every game. I watch every inning. I watch every pitch. My biggest concern is this. We don't have a guy that's going to come out of the bullpen and shut it down. Okay, that's my biggest scare. Outside of that, I think we got guys that could set it up. Schneider, be careful what you're doing. Where do you get your vibe from? Sometimes I see him taking out. Don't take him out yet. Give him one more hitter. The other night when he took out Little and brought in Green, I said, keep him in one more. I think he's going to be okay.
No, the call came from Shatkins upstairs.
Oh, then they did fire those fucks. I thought let him go. It was 2 outs. Okay, he looked a little shaky, but he had the guy up. Give him a chance. Last week they did. This week they didn't. 2 in a row. Schneider, bang. What happened? Switch the batter. What? First swing. What? One was first pitch out of the park. That was Rodriguez, though, and everybody knows, like, you know Rodriguez. He might throw that first pitch, and he did. So why is it better coach? When Rodriguez threw that pitch for the 3-run homer, as soon as it left his hand, I went, no. Did you see? Watch the game live? Real time. When that left his hand, what did you think?
Oh, no.
I said, oh, no, immediately when it left his hand. What is that telling us? If we're guys with a podcast sitting on the couch and we're seeing the pitch leave his hand, when it left his hand, I was nervous. Bad coaching.
Well, he just always makes me nervous, but...
doesn't make me. I think he can do something. I don't think he's going to be a closer.
We'll see.
But he's got to save.
Yeah, he does.
He's got to save. Anyways, all we could be doing is what do you call it? Promising about all this.
Yeah.
That's enough to say. Can we do a quick thing around the league before we?
Yeah, let's make it quick.
Really quick. One of the things I want to say is that this Jacob Wilson guy, someone should steal him from the Athletics already. He's just a freaking football. He's a baseball player. He's unbelievable. Like one of those good things. I want to say anything about this Cal Riley guy in Seattle. You're a great guy. You got great numbers. You're a catcher. You won't be like this in August. I hope you hit 40. I hope you do your thing. No. And he's got a torpedo bat. Fuck the torpedo bat. All that shit.
That's not going away.
Okay, no, it isn't. We've already discussed it on the thing. There's a few guys using it, but I don't think that Kyle Riley will not win the MVP. Stop it right there.
Could be Silver Slugger. Probably will be.
Oh, yeah, he'll be Silver Slugger, no doubt about it. I don't understand Kyle Schwarber. But I want him on my team.
I love him.
I love the guy, too. Like, I don't know what he's doing. Sometimes I just go. But first of all, he's not as scared of the situation. And if he strikes out, he forgets because the next time up, he's going to freaking drive it to your grandma's house.
Exactly.
So I got to love that. Another thing I want to just say really quick and get out of here. Right now, I'm going to say something to you that might you think I'm weird. But if someone said to me you could only have Bobby Witt or Corbin Carroll, I'd be confused.
How so?
Everyone's going to say Bobby Witt, right?
Sure.
Go look at all the intangibles and what they do. Corbin Carroll hits for power.
Yeah, Bobby Witt plays shortstop, though.
Corbin Carroll plays center field.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I'm saying add it all up. He plays shortstop. I'll give him the advantage of shortstop. He plays center field. Two of the most important positions defensively in baseball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that and catcher.
And catcher. Okay, so now then you look at their numbers. Corbin Carroll's power numbers are a little bit better than Witt's, and his on-pace percentage is about the same. Now, you don't care about this stat, but I do. Bobby Witt's batting average is about 20 points higher than Corbin Carroll's. But then again, Bobby Witt's supposed to be a guaranteed 300 hitter. Is he hitting 300 right now? No. Not even close. Okay, so when you come down to, they're both about the same age. Something about Corbin Carroll has that nails, hard as nails kind of guy. So if someone asked me right now, Bobby Witt or Corbin Carroll, everybody I would say Bobby Witt. Everyone I would say Bobby Witt. I'd say
Bobby Witt.
Everybody. I thought about it too, but I've been watching a lot of Arizona lately. They come on late. And this Corbin Carroll guy, he's different. He's just, see him in the playoffs last year too, and we remember him in the playoffs. He's a gamer.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he was a rookie 2 years ago. He's only gotten better since then. I think he's a great player. I don't know if I'd 100% take him over Bobby Witt, but when you look at these young guys coming up, because everyone will give you this guy, I think Corbin Carroll's a really good ball player. The other thing I was going to say, and then let's get out of here about baseball, is, and I'm scared about those two teams, there's always new stars coming along and how long they can sustain it. But there's three guys that I'm really liking. Torkelson, the first baseman on Detroit, where did he come from? I don't know. This Tampa Bay, this Caminero guy, this third base, where did this guy come from? And the kid center fielder in Tampa Bay, you see the catch he made the other day?
Yeah, wow.
Where did this guy come from?
Where's Tampa Bay getting anybody?
There's two guys that we just seen in the last week doing, whoa, where did these guys come from? Tampa Bay's unbelievable. In the whole four big sports, that market, that team,
well, they don't have an NBA team, but
no, but I'm saying in all four sports of any organization on the level of what you're supposed to be and who your money. Jacksonville and Tampa Bay, Jacksonville in football, Tampa Bay in baseball. They're supposed to be those leftover stepchild in the corner teams. Jacksonville acts like that a lot. Tampa Bay doesn't.
No, they haven't acted like that in like 20 years.
It blows my mind what I'm seeing like about Tampa Bay, and they're the ones that could be the team that steals our wild card spot.
I know.
Anyways, we'll continue. Keep your eyes on it. Baseball's been great. Loves the Jays. Please love the Jays.
We are hoping that next week we will have a full AL East rundown.
No, we're going to start from the West. Save our Jays for the end because we always talk about them. But we're going to go division by division.
Well, it's not just about the Jays. It's also about like the teams we're competing with. Wasn't that the idea?
But I thought we were going to go division by division.
Yeah.
So let's start with the National League West.
Okay, weird, but okay.
Yeah, because we're always talking about the Jays anyway, so we'll just use them as the grand finale of divisions.
Okay. Seems a little bit late, though, by the time we'll get into that, but...
That's okay, because every week we'll keep saying something about them.
Well, of course, but again, it's not about just the Jays, though, if we're going to do it. We'll talk about this after.
We'll get to it.
We'll move us over to our soccer report then.
And this is all yours, except for the fact that I want to say something about our Canadian Shield. Go ahead.
Canada wins the Canadian Shield going undefeated in regulation time. They won 4-2 versus Ukraine on Saturday. Jonathan David with the brace. Promise David, no relation. And Tejan Buchanan with the other goals. And then they lost versus Ivory Coast 5-4 in penalties after finishing 0-0 after 90 minutes, with Canada basically guaranteeing the Shield once that match reached the end of regulation. After, anything else to say about that?
Just want to say, did you see how big some of the players were in the Ivory Coast?
Yeah.
Didn't they look big to you?
Big boys.
Well, soccer players usually aren't that big.
No.
They got about, I look out there, like, where'd they get all these giraffes? Big. They're big. Like these five guys on that team look bigger than every guy I've seen in Canada. You know, but Ivory Coast, they build them big there.
There you go.
You know what I mean? No, did you notice that about that team? Didn't they look big?
Of course. They're always a big squad.
Huge, man. Huge. Okay, continue.
After getting embarrassed 3-0 in Norway, Italy went into Moldova on Monday, winning 2-0 in Luciano Spalletti's final match as manager, with Raspadori and Cambiaso with the goals there.
Are you more comfortable with their qualifying situation now?
No. In Nations League, the Final Four met in Munich and Stuttgart, where Portugal beat Germany 2-1, and Spain won over France 5-4 in a barn burner to set up a Spain-Portugal final. That game would have finished 2-2 and would head to penalties, where Portugal would win 5-3 to capture their second Nations League. They are the only team now with 2 titles there. Spain won the last one 2 years ago. France won the one before that. And France beat Germany 2-0 for third, if that means anything.
And where were these games played?
Germany.
Do you see the crowds?
Soccer, baby. It moves the needle.
Oh, I'm telling you, I forgot. I go, what kind of tournament is this? Because you told me about it. Take a look at over there. I just noticed the crowd. With 50,000 a game, eh? or more.
Yep.
60,000 a
More
game.
than 50, yeah.
Yeah, I went, whoa.
Especially for the final.
Like on a Tuesday. Then the next day they're playing, and I'm going, holy shit, that's unbelievable. Like I said, we're in North America. The world doesn't shine out of our ass, people.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, just remember that.
Kevin De Bruyne will head to Napoli as a free agent on a 2-year deal, leaving Manchester City as a legend of that franchise and now looking to, I guess, build the next chapter and joining a very good Napoli team who just won the Scudetto, their second in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
CONCACAF Gold Cup starts up this week. Canada starts Tuesday against Honduras. Next Saturday, they'll play Curacao. And then the Monday after that, they will play El Salvador to wrap up the group stage. And I'm just happy our soccer program is not as big of a mess as it is in the States.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Everyone there panicking.
Yeah, certainly it is. Are we going to play, how many of those games are at BMO? Only one, right? Or two?
I believe only 2.
The El Salvador game's in El Salvador, right?
No, it's just Canada and America hosting.
Okay, so I hope then maybe we should get them here.
I haven't seen the locations yet, but yeah. Either
No,
way,
it might not be in Toronto, it might be in Edmonton.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Okay.
But I think that's about it for soccer. You have anything to add?
No, except that I think that the new commercials for the World Cup are absolutely genius. Whoever conceived it. Have you seen them yet?
Yes, I have.
That was just who thought of that?
Some marketing genius.
That just I do it. You see, like Kane looks like he's going in the ring. You see, look at Kane. He's the one guy that really looks like he's going in the ring. Because I didn't get it at first because the Man City guy, when he was getting his leg done, they were talking about undefeated. I got caught off guard for about 30 seconds because he's the first one on and they're taping him. What's he taping him for? Then as the commercial goes on, brilliant commercial. Absolutely brilliant.
That's for the Club World Cup, aren't
is it?
Yeah.
Whatever. What,
so that's happening this summer.
Is that it is? I thought it was for World Cup.
No, because if it's because it's your boy Holland might not make a World Cup. He's got to qualify for Norway, right?
Right. So what is this then? What tournament
Club
is it?
World Cup.
What the fuck is that?
It's like the best 32 clubs are meeting this summer.
Oh.
So like Manchester City's going to be in there, Bayern Munich's going to be in there, Inter Miami's going to be in there.
So that commercial's for that. That's not World Cup. So I got
that's
fooled.
Club World Cup.
Fuck. Okay.
Learn
something new today.
It's the first time they're doing it big this year because usually the Club World Cup has just been like a little 8-team thing that they've done around Christmas time. Now it's like a full 32-team one that they're doing in the summertime.
This summer, right?
This summer.
Wow. I'm going to pay attention to that because I thought the commercial was freaking. I go, why are they doing this a year in advance? Little did I know. Again, confused about soccer. Anyways, the commercial was great, and if that's what they're doing, that's great for the sport. Like they need more eyeballs.
Exactly.
Nah, you know what? The more the merrier. As Tony Kornheiser always says, you want to have the most popular TV show on, and not only that, last time I checked, soccer's a TV show.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we'll move this over to the French Open, keeping it in Europe, where Alcaraz defeated Sinner 4-6, 6-7, 6-4, 7-6, 7-6 to win his second French Open and second in a row in his 5th Grand Slam. It was the second longest Grand Slam final in history at 5 hours and 29 minutes. Sinner won the first 20 sets in a row this tournament, but just couldn't close. Couldn't win the last one. He now hasn't won a match over 4 hours long ever, although he stays the world number 1.
That's kind of a weird stat, but let's just take this one step further. This is Sinner's first freaking final at a French Open. Because this is not his surface, even though he's Italian, which catches me off guard because the Italian Open, Spanish Open, and French all on clay. So that catches me off guard because then they're saying he's really not a clay court guy.
Hard court's been his specialty.
Exactly, so far. But I mean, he got to the finals of the French and he did really, really well. What cannot be understated, and I've been watching tennis since the great Borg McEnroe matches because I'm that old. This was one for the ages, people.
It was incredible.
It was a stunning, like we say at the House That Happens, we like to watch the highest level of competition. This was that and then some.
When Alcaraz fought off like what?
Three match points in the 4th set.
3 championship points.
Yeah, 3 championship points in the 4th set. That kind of set the tone for it. But Alcaraz, as someone says, the greatest athletes of all time sometimes have delusional confidence.
Yes.
Alcaraz took all his delusional confidence and got himself a championship, which is his second, right?
Second French, yeah.
Yeah, is this his second in a row, right?
Yes, it is.
So now he's going to go into Wimbledon looking for his 3rd in a row.
Well, I think this is certainly looks like this is going to be the favorite at least for the final. But I mean, Djokovic, I think, is still hanging around there.
I don't think you think that's one of my questions. You think can he win another one?
I think he's really hungry to tie Federer, for most Wimbledon titles.
This is the one that I think he has least chance of winning.
Why is that?
Because it's Wimbledon. What's his record at Wimbledon? Pretty damn
Djokovic?
good. Yeah, it's pretty
He's
damn
tied
good.
for second most titles.
With Federer, right? So
Well, no, he's one behind Federer.
with 6, right? So he's got
7. He's got 7. Federer's got 8.
Well,
He's tied with, I think Sampras is the other guy with 7 Wimbledons.
Okay, so I'm going to put it to you this way. There's too many young cats like Sinner, Zverev, Shelton.
Zverev's not going to win a major.
That's one of the things. Do you think they're a little bit too hard on him?
No.
He just collapsed with Djokovic. Something went
Every
wrong.
time he's in a tournament with like all the big dogs, he just
when
can't
he gets
win.
to the end, he's a quarterfinalist, semifinalist.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe make a final, but when he just
Has he ever made a final?
Yeah. He got his ass kicked last year in the finals against Alcaraz and the French.
Are you sure? I gotta look that up.
He got to a final and he freaking folded like a cheap suit. It was pretty, and he's a big boy. You know, he can hit. Check his record. He's gotten there, but he hasn't done shit.
Oh, okay. He has made 3 finals.
Yeah, and he collapsed. 2. I know one of them was tight. I think it was the U.S. Open. Did he make the final?
But that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
he made the French Open final last year, and he made the Australian Open final this year. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he got bitch slapped.
Yeah, I remember.
But that was his big coming out. Was it 5 years? I thought it was 3 years ago. It's 5 years since he made that
2020
final?
U.S. Open.
Okay, so that's when he was on the rise, and everyone said, this kid is a hardcore player. Look what he's going to do. What has he done since then? Puked it up every time he got there. It's just sad. I like his game. That's what I'm saying. I like his game. I like the way he plays. My other question when you want to talk about this is the Americans any closer to getting back to any relevance in tennis? They had 2 that made the 4th round. No, 2 made the quarters, and Paul and Tiafoe.
Yeah.
And
Tommy Paul, he's going to get a lot of buzz. What?
Choked.
Well, wait till U.S. Open. They're going to tell you that he's going to have a chance there, which he made it far. He made it to the semis last year.
Semis or quarters. One of the 2.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's definitely made for clay. He's not a clay court guy.
No American is.
No, you see him bombing around. He's playing like he's playing at freaking Forest Hills when he's swinging the racket, which is okay to do. But are the Americans on the rise? That's always seems to be the question. Like Shelton lost, but he lost to Alcaraz in the quarters.
Sure.
So he could have went further if there was a different match to go there. I think the Americans are on the rise, but I think this is going to be a while. We're going to have the Sinner-Alcaraz show until somebody breaks in.
Yeah.
It's going to be like when it was Federer and Nadal until Djokovic broke his way in. You know what I mean?
It was Federer and Nadal, and then like the next year, Djokovic was like, "No, this is the big 3 motherfuckers."
Yeah, he finally when he broke in there. But I don't think Zverev or anybody else is around to say that they're going to be a big 3.
Zverev, he's had his chances where I think it's like he is what he is at this point.
Is he
going to sneak into another final? Maybe.
Oh, I think he's got the capability. But I'm thinking though, anyone that's going to be knocking on the doors could be one of the Yanks. Could be finally. I like Shelton's game. I think he needs a little bit more experience. He didn't get overwhelmed by Alcaraz. Well, he kind of did with 6-4, 6-3, whatever the score was. But by the end of that match, you knew, oh no, Alcaraz was putting this away.
Yeah.
He wasn't quite ready for prime time. But before we get off that, and congratulations to Alcaraz, thanks for having such when you get to see something in real time that good, it's amazing. That's all I got to say. Hope we have many more.
And by the way, they both look like they were dressed like little schoolboys.
Horrible dress. Oh, horrible. I liked Alcaraz's a little more because Tony Kornheiser just said it best. You didn't watch The Little Rascals. I did.
I've seen the 90s movie.
Well, anyway, no, you go back to the old black and white. Alcaraz looked like he could fit right in there in the black and white with that outfit. You know what I mean? Honest to God. And
I believe
goes,
it.
yes. When Cornette goes, The Little Rascals, I said, that's what I remembered. What's his name was wearing that? Spanky wore that. I went, what's going on here? But before we get off, I just want to be able to say something because when we get on the air here and anybody gets on the air here, we're free to shoot our mouths off about anything that we want because we think we know it or we have an opinion, right?
Okay.
Okay, so what I did last year is I got a little bit hard on Coco Gauff because for a variety of reasons, I explained it to her. And I just want to say this now that she's won the French Open. When a person starts to mature for you, maybe you should respect that. Maybe someone pulled her back in the corner and say this because I see maybe because she was winning, but I didn't see none of that catty, I'm going to bitch because I'm this or that about her.
Right.
She just took care of her business and won. What I'm disappointed in is the one that I like so much is, did you see the Sabalenka press conference after she lost to Gauff?
Oh, yeah, it gave Gauff no credit.
None. Zero. If Swiatek was playing her today, she would have beat her. And I like Sabalenka. How much have I always talked nice about her? So now, if I'm going to say this, when at the time when I seen Coco Gauff doing her shit, and I called her out, Sabalenka, Back off on this nonsense. We're trying to respect you as a champion, and that's how you felt in a
Queen
loss?
Sabalenka nonsense.
Oh,
that's what I never liked about Federer. Like, he did a lot of that same shit. It was never getting credit to the other guy. I was always like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do this. Like, well,
but
buddy,
he was so good at the time.
I agreed. But still, like, I don't like that.
I don't like it either. So if I called out Goff, I got to call out Sabalenka. That's
even
my
the
point.
Florida Panthers, as fucking assholes that they are on the ice. Off the ice, they'll give credit to the other team.
Oh yeah, no.
They're good sportsmen.
Interesting. That's the way I want to see it, because Goff was a little bit doing that last year. Remember, she was losing and all that. And I was going, "What's going on?"
It was tough to watch.
Yes, but now she seems to like. If that's what happened, her maturity level, more power to her. Because I liked her game coming up. I was a big Coco fan until, what are you doing? And you know that kind of stuff bugs me, so I had to back off. But seeing Sabalenka, she took 3 steps back from me. I love her game. I love the way she plays. I loved her demeanor.
She'll be back.
Oh, definitely, but I don't want
the automatic favorite for the U.S. Open because it's on hard court.
Oh, and she's one of the Wimbledon favorites too, but it's going to be hard for me. Like, the next time she plays Goff, who do you think I'm going to be cheering for?
Okay, I got one guess.
There you go, because I
Stanley.
I just can't do that. Okay, Stanley's gone into his thing.
He's got the zoomies.
I got distracted. Yeah, here, I'll get him.
He's trying to bite me.
That's the love.
I'm not a chew toy, buddy.
Here. Come here.
I'm being attacked.
That's his sign to say he was going to keep going. But anyway, the French Open was a very entertaining event this year. Can't wait for Wimbledon, which is just around the corner.
Yes, sir. We'll keep an eye on that. But for now, we'll move things over to the CFL, where the Argos, we got no game to report on, but they will be playing the Calgary Stampeders in the home opener tomorrow night. And then next Friday, they host the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 2 not-so-good teams from the West coming over. 2 very winnable games, a chance for the Argos to get back above 500 for the first time this season, if you ask me.
And it's going to need to be, because we don't know when our quarterback's going to be back.
No, although I think Arbuckle's going to be up to the challenge.
Oh, I think he will be too. He'll hold on to it. It's just a matter of, there's only, don't get, our old saying is, once you get behind 500, you're always battling to try to get back. Don't get too far away now this early in the year.
Yeah, and I mean, whatever. I know the Argos got bitch slapped their opener against Montreal, but it's the CFL. You know, it's not like it's not one in week 1. How many times have we seen where the Argos just sneak into the playoffs 9-9, and then they end up winning the Grey Cup? It's happened a number of times, right?
Exactly, and it could happen.
Not that we want us to fall behind the 8 ball.
No.
I'd like us to have at least, 10, 11, 12 wins and, go for the Eastern Division. But
and give us the home game in the playoffs.
Exactly.
That's how I look at it.
Get that first round bye, win the division even, right?
Yes. And if my voice is fading, it's only because I'm calming down our good mascot here, Stanley. Automatically right now, Winnipeg, who slapped BC last night, already we're talking about because they lost, they're going to come back with a vengeance.
Well, they were co-favorites along with the Argos to win the Grey Cup once the season opened.
Yes, and they're looking like they figure that they were supposed to be the dynasty, remember?
Yep.
And now Toronto's talking about their dynasty. Going to see some good games.
Absolutely. Anything else for the CFL?
No, but we'll keep our eye on it, boys.
And we'll move us over to our neighbors to the east here in Montreal, where we have the Canadian Grand Prix right around the corner. A track that historically Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton have both had a lot of success in, looking to get back on the horse here. I doubt it's going to come to that. McLaren, obviously the favorite. Max has probably got a little bit of a in him as well.
You see what happened to your Ferrari team in practice today?
I did not.
Leclerc had a little problem with a wall.
Oh.
I believe
it
so.
It happens.
I seen it on there. I'm fascinated by that, because one of the things I've learned now, and one of the reasons that maybe they got in trouble last week, is because of the tire supply on the Red Bull thing, which we talked about, how that gets to there. When you bang up your car, I hope you have enough parts. Like, I understand now it's so Lego, because I seen when they went back to Leclerc's thing, how they're pulling out all the stuff. It was like a rack coming down with all the parts.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're only allowed to do so much with so much, right?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so it's going to be interesting. And it was a weird. Did you see it? Did you see the smack up?
No, I didn't yet.
Okay, I think it was Leclerc anyway, because it was Ferrari anyway. It was definitely Ferrari. Yeah. He smacked up the car, smacked it up pretty good. But he's got 2 days to get it all back together. So
tomorrow for qualifying.
Yeah, but they had it all out there saying it seemed to be under
control. Be okay.
Yep.
Lance Stroll's going to be in this race, his home Grand Prix, after missing the last one mysteriously. And
he wasn't missing this one.
Well, I mean, if he was injured, he wouldn't have been able to make it.
How injured was he?
I don't know. That's the thing. No one's been able to say. Also,
which makes us question this, because suddenly we're in his home country and he's on the track.
I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theory guy.
I'm not either.
It could have fooled me.
Just because I say
Conspiracy
1 +
theories?
1, I'm just saying it just seems, sometimes it's not conspiracy, but the guy couldn't race. We don't know what's coming home, and all of a sudden he comes home and he's automatically ready to go. So what was really wrong? That's
Sounds
not
like a conspiracy.
I'm just questioning the circumstances. How's that?
Also, looking into next season, looks like Mercedes might not be in as good a position as we thought.
Why is that?
Well, the way things are trending for this team.
Oh, I agree.
And like the word is that like even another one of their customers. So right now, McLaren, who is a Mercedes customer, passed them.
Mm-hmm.
Williams could be a Mercedes customer that's right around the corner from passing them as well.
I don't and that's weird, don't you think?
Yeah.
Especially when they're bringing up an outstanding young kid who could be a
Antonelli?
driver of the future. You know what I mean?
Oh
Don't
yeah, it
play
could be a
with-
big
don't-
missed opportunity.
Don't play around with the kid, man. You've already jacked him around with the did not finishes, which he had nothing to do with. Brutal. That's on his record, though, right?
Yep,
Did
absolutely.
not finish, and I go, wow. So they
Well, F1, it's any motorsports, a two-part components. You know,
yes, it is.
driver and machine.
Driver
Where's the
and-
balance, right?
Sometimes there isn't.
There you go. Point well taken. This will be the third last race before summer break. So we got Austria in 2 weeks, and then Great Britain, Silverstone the week after that, July 7th. Then they're off for a month.
Yeah,
Almost halfway through F1 already.
that gives Max more time to learn how to work the baby's buggy. How's that?
Anything else for Formula One?
No, but the Jays are down 4-0 already.
I
Don't
know.
that. Okay.
We'll move us over to, we have a trivia question that just came through the wire. Thank you very much, Steven.
Way to come through with that. And look at our timing is good, bro. Look at the time on our
I know.
We're doing very, very good.
Coming through in the clutch once again, Steven. Ready for our question?
Yes.
Is it going to load?
If anyone wants to see, you could see, I really wish we could film like Stanley is completely part of the show right now. Look at his mouth even moving. When are you done? I want to go out. Look at that face. I'm giving you treats. You're on the show. Just like we had two guests today, my son and my dog.
Oh, apologies. No, it didn't appear like he made one. I thought he did.
Okay, well, at least he attempted to. Stephen, if you're listening, I gave a little box something to your brother to bring home, so it'll be an impetus for getting together a show we're going to do on the side.
Yes. Well, have we teased this already? We are going to do a full-on trivia show.
Yes, we are.
A competition between me and Cruz, sports focused, obviously.
Yes, it's going to be. I don't know, it's all about the format we're trying to figure out, so it'll be well balanced.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, hockey, baseball, basketball, football is going to be obviously the main focus, but then, some F1, some tennis, some golf.
Yeah, some odd thing about that. In any event,
Then it'll come right, and then right after that will be our MMA show, I'm sure.
You know what? Can I say one thing about MMA? I will never have a pay-per-view. I will never put on my PVR. I will never put my clock set to any of that in my life. Just saying.
I probably won't either.
No, you know what?
I have split a pay-per-view, but I will never be the one to initiate it, put it that way.
Okay, well, because you know what some of it is? It is so freaking primitive. As fast as technology takes us in their head, and the advance in all these things, AI, and then you watch MMA as the most primitive thing on TV.
I thought that's the slap fighting.
I've completely. That's fading away in the future. That's so stupid that they had to get rid of that. That means they went lower on the.
But Cruz, they have more followers on social media than Real Madrid.
Oh my God!
You know why? Because I think people just want to see the freak show.
Exactly, it is. It is a freak show, but you know what it is?
But no one's gonna sit down and watch it for half an hour. That's the thing.
Oh no, it's got to be 2 seconds and you get the laugh. But here's what I always say, because when you go on Facebook, or especially on Facebook, but not so much, because that's why I go to Instagram. I've noticed I'm spending more time on Instagram because on Facebook they have all that real shit.
Oh, reels are on everywhere. Instagram, YouTube.
And then it's okay, but anyways,
Facebook, it's getting bad with all the fake news.
That's why I scroll a lot. But I always stop on those ones because you see those most ridiculous knockouts where humans get to show themselves at their worst. You know when they go like this to each other?
Yeah.
And then one guy's unconscious, completely.
Wait, MMA or slap fighting?
No, MMA.
Okay.
These guys are in their 30s. If you want to be able to be a functioning human being at my age, you better not take too many of those shots. You see the shots they take? They go down gumbead. They're completely out of it before they hit the ground. Their arms go. When your arms shut off, what does that mean? Your brain shut off.
Yeah.
You know what you got to do to how hard you got to be hit for your brain to pause for a minute? Something I never want to experience.
Damn right. Damn fucking right.
Thank you very much. I've heard Larry Holmes talk lately. I've heard Tommy Hearns talk lately. I've heard Roy Jones talk lately. They don't talk like they talked in the prime of their careers.
No, Muhammad Ali, same deal with during the stretch.
Yeah, so why? Because he took too many shots he shouldn't have taken. You know what I mean? So MMA will never... we talked enough about that.
Agreed.
We've talked enough about that. And Zach, we don't talk about your sport at all.
Is that even a sport?
It's entertainment.
There we go.
It's entertainment.
What event are you looking forward to the most this week?
I'm looking forward to the OKC.
Ooh, tonight?
Yes, I am. I'm riveted to that, and I can't wait to watch the hockey game tomorrow night in Edmonton. I'm so pumped for that to see what's happening.
I'm going to look forward to Game 6 on Tuesday. I'm going to say that because that's going to be a potential...
That's the one. So
yeah.
we're definitely going to look there. I'm also looking forward to... who's playing? There's a big baseball series next week. I think it's Philadelphia plays the Mets again.
Ooh, that's one
I think
to
it's
watch.
one that's coming up, yeah, but I want to pay attention to that to see what's going on because they're supposed to be contenders. If you want my honest opinion as we end the show, I do not see one clear-cut team in baseball, including the Dodgers, that you can say that's a team that's going to the World Series. Because first of all, we know how the playoffs work.
Well, baseball always works like that, though, wouldn't you say?
Oh, but last year we knew the Dodgers were cruising by this time. We knew
that's
team.
more the exception, though.
Yeah, but this year I don't see that.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I don't see any clear. I see good teams, and I think that by the time we get to August 1st, we will know. Everybody else will be on the wayside.
You know who's going to make the World Series this year?
Who?
The Mets.
A lot of components that say that they are, including that pitching staff.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm saying. And you know me, pitching and defense. I love the hit. Love the hit. Give me my 3%. But the Mets, look at their pitching staff and their bullpen. And however they got into bed with Alonso, they made the right move.
Yes, sir. That was the guy who I wanted the Jays to get more than Santander.
So why didn't they give him more? Is it that last
Well, he
minute?
probably wanted to stay in New York.
He did want to stay in New York, but why didn't Toronto outbid him? Nobody really, it's come around. You know who else wanted him? Philly wanted to take a crack at him. San Francisco wanted to crack at him. Why didn't any of these teams put up the extra money?
I don't know. It's bizarre.
Nobody outbid him. Well, how are you going to outbid? What's his name? Anyway? No.
Good luck.
What
The
I'm
richest
saying.
owner in sports or whatever?
No. So they couldn't outbid him. But I mean, it was on the table because it was one of those deals where the owner said, hey, go ask everybody else they want to pay you and come back. And he came back, and the Mets said, here you go.
Yeah, so he wasn't moving.
That's what I say. Whenever I hear that story, you're not going. How many times we hear that? Yeah. Oh, go check everyone else wants. And then when that ends up happening, that's just going to be Sam Bennett of hockey. Go see what everybody else is paying you, and then let's discuss it.
In a hard cap world?
Florida taxes?
I don't think so.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I think that's just about it. Looking forward to another great week. Thank you for this wonderful podcast once again, Cruz. And if you're listening, give us a like, give us a comment. Please subscribe. It really helps us out with the algorithm. We love you.
And if you really want to feel good about your golf game, which we will be doing tomorrow, watch the rest of the U.S. Open this weekend, and you won't feel so bad about your game. Even though you got to realize the conditions on this golf course make it the most difficult tournament ever in the history of the game for that year at this time, especially at Oakmont.
Oh, boy.
Should be fun going down the stretch. Anything else you'd like to do? I would like to say this. Everybody out here that's living their life and trying to be positive and make things go forward, don't try to panic about everything that goes on in the world because in the long run, you really can't affect it.
Oh, my number one rule is don't stress things you can't control.
There you go. So we got, as you well know, we got a lot of interesting things going on in the world as we speak today.
Yes.
None of them are in Etobicoke at the moment, so I can't really say that I'm going to stress about any of it. And I've been outside and I hear a lot of heightened conversations already because it's world situation. We talk about it. Try not to heighten it in our own backyard, and let's think about the positives and the great things that we have going on here before we let everything else around the world spill in and wreck the good things in our neighborhood.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm trying to say?
We got one life. Let's make the most of it.
Exactly. Big happy Father's Day to your dad.
Thank you very much. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers listening.
Once again.
And just thank you so much for listening, and happy Father's Day once again, Cruz.
And I got a special shout out to our San Francisco Slugger Liverpool fan having his very first Father's Day. Hey, Matty Curran, big shout out to you. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, anything else you want to add?
No, just want to thank my dog for not wrecking everything.
All right, thank you very much, Stanley. I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name is Cruz.
And what do?
We keep the vibe alive.
Do you have a question? We'll answer it on the air. Send it to thehousethathappens@gmail.com. You can find us on Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeart Radio, Player FM, Podchaser, Boomplay, and SoundCloud. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and on X at House Happens.